Chapter 606. What does this have to do with Jingxian? Xiao Chen said. As expected, Xiao had some hostility towards Shen Jingxian. I just don't like her. She saw you show your strength, so she came to seduce you. Goddess? Xiao curled her lips. That's your sister-in-law. Don't talk nonsense. If you talk nonsense again, I'll really get angry. Xiao Chen was still very protective of Shen Jingxian. Well, you forget your sister after getting a wife. Typical. Xiao shrugged and looked at Xiao Chen unhappily. If you don't want to say it, then don't say it. Good advice is unpleasant to the ear. What nonsense. Xiao Chen didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Okay, let's see if there's anything good. I'll buy it for you. That's a good word. Xiao happily squatted in front of a stall and looked carefully. Xiao used to enjoy these goods every time. It would take at least 1 or 2 hours to finish picking them up. Xiao Chen stood aside and waited patiently. Xiao? Brother Xiao Chen? A surprised voice sounded. Xiao Chen turned his head and was slightly startled. The person who had come was actually Qi Zhigao, and there was a girl beside him. She looked fair and clean, and although she was not as pretty as Xiao, her temperament was somewhat similar to Xiao's. Qi Zhigao? Why are you here? Xiao Chen was also a little surprised. Ah, brother Xiao Chen, long time no see. Qi Zhigao saw Xiao and was a little embarrassed, but he still adjusted his mood well. Xiao, this is my fiancée. I accompanied her out for a walk. It's almost New Year, so I wanted to buy some goods. So it's your fiancée. Xiao Chen didn't expect that Qi Zhigao had already given up on Xiao. But thinking about it, Xiao was already engaged to Cheng Mengqiang. It was useless for him not to give up. Yes, it's Chao Yuling from the Chao family. I'm also preparing to officially compete for the position of the young master of the Qi family, Qi Zhigao said. Xiao Chen was a little surprised. He didn't expect that Qi Zhigao would think it through and understand the importance of marriage. Moreover, the person he found was not weak. It turned out to be a member of the Chao family in Songning. However, the Chao family was not strong enough in Xiao Chen's eyes. Congratulations. Xiao smiled and said, you finally found your true love. The corner of Qi Zhigao's mouth twitched, but he didn't explain anything. In fact, he still liked Xiao, but he could also see that Xiao only regarded him as a good friend, but she never liked him. Chao Yuling looked at Xiao Chen and then at Xiao. She smiled and said, so you are Xiao Chen. My brother has told me about you. He. Xiao Chen didn't start this topic. It was probably not something good. If Qi Zhigao was willing to find a member of the Chao family, it was his business. Xiao Chen didn't want to talk more with him. Then we'll go first. You can do your work. Qi Zhigao nodded to Xiao Chen and Xiao. Okay, when are you getting married? Don't forget to tell me. I'll go and congratulate you. Xiao smiled. Sure. Qi Zhigao also smiled. After the two left, Chao Yuling asked Qi Zhigao, is that Xiao whom you have been pursuing? It's all in the past. Qi Zhigao was a little embarrassed. It's nothing. Xiao doesn't look like a good person. She looks at her brother with a flirtatious look. She doesn't like you. She is so close to her brother. I don't know what kind of dirty things they do at home. Chao Yuling curled her lips and said. Yuling, how can you speculate so maliciously? They are brother and sister. How could it be possible? Qi Zhigao frowned. Who said brother and sister are? Oh, I mean, they don't look like each other at all. Maybe one of them was adopted. Chao Yuling said sarcastically. Alas. Qi Zhigao sighed. He didn't know whether his choice was right or wrong. This Chao Yuling was a little mean. Although she wasn't as notorious as Qi Ziyuan's fiancé, Chen Xiaojiao, she wasn't a virgin anymore. Although she said that she accidentally broke it when she was exercising, Qi Zhigao didn't believe it. He was not stupid and couldn't tell the difference between anti-fans and fans. He just reluctantly accepted it. As a daughter of a big family, no matter what happened in the past, it would be fine as long as she behaved herself after getting engaged. To his relief, there had never been a rumor that Chao Yuling had a boyfriend. He also investigated, and it was true that Chao Yuling did not have a boyfriend. Therefore, Qi Zhigao could only think that Chao Yuling was born like this, or she secretly comforted herself, so it could be considered as a comfort. Today, when he saw Xiao Xiao, Qi Zhigao recalled the previous memories. It was originally quite beautiful, but after being ridiculed by Chao Yuling, he suddenly lost the mood and was absent-minded. Chao Yuling's cell phone rang. Chao Yuling picked it up and said to Qi Zhigao, "It's my home phone. I'll answer it." As she spoke, she went to the side to answer the phone. Qi Zhigao was too lazy to eavesdrop. He looked at the night market and was a little lost in thought. Xiao Chen and Xiao Xiao chose some New Year's goods, and then they were about to get up and leave. Suddenly, several people appeared in front of them, which made them slightly stunned. "Xiao Chen, you are under arrest." The leader of the black-shirted man shouted at Xiao Chen, "I'm Captain Su Yonglong of the Songning branch of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. You should obediently surrender, or we will take coercive measures." Xiao Chen looked at Su Yonglong in front of him with some bafflement. How did they find this place? This was really strange. Moreover, was this guy retarded? I can even defeat Yang Tan. Does he think he is better than Yang Tan? I don't want to go against you. Even Yang Jiannan is not my opponent. Xiao Chen said faintly, "If you don't want to die, leave quickly. I will pretend that nothing happened." "Ha ha ha, Xiao Chen, do you think I will use force against you?" Su Yonglong suddenly smiled. He directly took out a pistol and pointed it at Xiao Chen, saying, "Surrender, or I will shoot. Do you think you can dodge a bullet?" Su Yonglong also saw the video provided by Xia Shibin. He knew that Xiao Chen was also afraid of bullets, so he specially prepared before coming. "Oh, do as you wish." Xiao Chen glanced at him and ignored him. He directly turned around and took Xiao Xiao's hand, saying, "Xiao Xiao, let's go." Xiao Xiao was a little worried because Su Yonglong was still holding a pistol. If he shot, wouldn't her brother be in trouble? However, out of trust for Xiao Chen, Xiao Xiao did not turn back and walked forward with Xiao Chen. "Well, you want to resist arrest? Then don't blame me for being impolite." Su Yonglong pulled the trigger. Bang! The sudden gunshot sounded. The surrounding vendors had already retreated far away. They thought that they had encountered the scene of the police arresting a thief. Xiao Xiao's heart suddenly twitched. The other party really shot. She was a little shocked and squeezed Xiao Chen's hand. After the gunshot, she wanted to see Xiao Chen's situation, but she heard a scream. Ouch! This sound wasn't Xiao Chen's, but a little like Su Yonglong's. Xiao Xiao turned around and saw Su Yonglong's right hand was full of blood. His hand was already a mess of flesh and blood. There was also a pistol on the ground that could not be seen. Captain Su. The other two people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau immediately surrounded him. They couldn't understand why Su Yonglong's pistol exploded. They couldn't care less about Xiao Chen. Without the pistol, they were not Xiao Chen's opponent at all. They could only watch Xiao Chen walk away. In the Cheng family, Cheng Mengqiang had just applied the healing ointment that Cheng Zhongfan brought back from the sect. He was usually reluctant to use this ointment, but he had to use it at this moment. Cheng Mengqiang, who had applied the ointment, felt a lot more comfortable. He lay on the bed, and his heart calmed down a lot. He knew that with the current strength of the Cheng family, it was absolutely impossible to go against Xiao Chen. He could only endure it and wait for a chance to take revenge in the future. The phone rang, and Cheng Mengxiang picked up the phone with some difficulty. "Who is it?" "Young Master Cheng, I'm Chao Yuliang," said Chao Yuliang. "Oh, it's Liangzi. It's so late. What's the matter?" asked Cheng Mengxiang. "Guess who Chao Yuling and Qi Zhigao met on the street today?" Chao Yuliang said with some excitement. "Who?" Cheng Mengxiang didn't have the mood to play guessing with Chao Yuliang. He said impatiently, "What does it have to do with me who that little b***tch met? Could it be that she was not satisfied at home and went to find a new lover?" Speaking of Chao Yuliang's sister, Chao Yuling, Cheng Mengxiang's heart was refreshed. He had always been suppressed by Qi Zhigao. Originally, he was able to get back at him with Xiao Zhao's matter, but he didn't expect that Xiao Xiao broke off the engagement, and he didn't take advantage of it at all. It was really annoying. Fortunately, Qi Zhigao didn't catch up with Xiao Xiao, which was more or less a comfort. However, there was a cool thing next. Qi Zhigao's fiancé actually chose Chao Yuling. He was about to laugh wildly. Qi Zhigao finally picked up the leftovers. "I met Xiao Chen." Chao Yuliang didn't have the mood to talk about other things. He quickly said, "Xiao Chen actually dared to appear in Songning City. He really doesn't want to live." "Oh." When Cheng Mengxiang heard that he met Xiao Chen, he suddenly lost interest. "Young Master Cheng, after Yuling told me the news, I reported it to the Songning branch of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau immediately. Ha ha ha. Now, it is estimated that the Songning branch of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau has already gone to catch Xiao Chen." Chao Yuliang said proudly. "Motherf *****. Cheng Mengxiang said angrily, "Who asked you to report it? Are you asking for it? Are you free? Chao Yuliang, let me tell you. Are you showing off?" I. Chao Yuliang was a little confused. How could he deal with Xiao Chen wrongly? This shouldn't be the case. Didn't Cheng Mengxiang always deal with Xiao Chen with him? It's a good thing to create trouble and obstacles for Xiao Chen now. Why does Cheng Mengxiang sound very angry? Chapter 607. Motherf ****, you really can't do anything right. Cheng Mengxiang was so angry that he hung up the phone. What's wrong? Just then, Cheng Xiaofan walked into the bedroom from the outside and heard Cheng Mengxiang scolding people. He was slightly surprised and asked, "Chao Yuliang, this bastard." His sister saw Xiao Chen on the street and told him. He actually made a decision on his own and reported the Songning branch of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau to catch Xiao Chen. Cheng Mengxiang snarled angrily, "Isn't this putting our Cheng family in trouble? What will Xiao Chen think? He must think that we reported it. None of your subordinates are useful." Cheng Xiaofan slapped his forehead and was a little depressed. That kid doesn't play according to the rules. If he wants to burn our house, it's just a matter of a moment. It's really unwise to provoke him now. I think so too. This Chao Yuliang is too annoying. He made a decision on his own. Cheng Mengxiang was also very annoyed. Why don't we look for Xiao Chen to explain? What else is there to explain? He won't believe it even if we explain it. Besides, even if we say that Chao Yuliang did it, Chao Yuliang is your man. Can he believe that this has nothing to do with you? Cheng Xiaofan asked. Indeed, it's really killing us. Cheng Mengxiang said with hatred, I hope Xiao Chen doesn't think so much. On Xiao Chen's side, there were indeed some doubts. He was very puzzled. Logically, Cheng Xiaofan wasn't stupid, right? The strength of these people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was not his opponent at all. Why did Cheng Xiaofan ask them to come? Was it a joke? He frowned and thought of Chao Yuling, who he saw before. Could it be that she was behind it? This wasn't impossible. It was normal for Chao Yuliang's sister to tell Chao Yuliang later. Thinking that she was Qi Zhigao's girlfriend, and Qi Zhigao had recognized him as his boss before, Xiaochen couldn't ask them for an explanation. Anyway, there was nothing to do, so he just let it go. However, one thing was certain. His identity as Xiaochen had been completely exposed. He could no longer use this identity in the future. "Brother, what's going on? How did they find you?" After escaping danger, Xiao Xiao asked curiously. "I don't know either, but I'm guessing Chao Yuling tipped them off." Xiaochen said, "Forget it. Ignore them. I'll send you back to the Xiao family. I guess I won't be able to go back to the Xiao family for a while. Starting tomorrow, there will be people waiting at the door of the Xiao family. She's really annoying. She doesn't look like a good person. She looks gentle and quiet on the surface, but I think she's a green tea bitch on the inside," Xiao Xiao said disdainfully. "Well, no matter what, she's Qi Zhigao's girlfriend." Xiaochen waved his hand. He didn't like to talk about friends behind their backs. What a bad taste. "Fortunately, I didn't promise him, or else I would be finished." Xiao Xiao patted her chest and said, "It's really annoying. I thought that brother would accompany me often during this period. I'll find a way to secretly accompany you." Xiaochen smiled bitterly. "That's more like it. This is what you said. Don't lie, or I'll tell Grandpa." Xiao Xiao said. Xiaochen was happy. It was like this when he was young. If he lied to Xiao Xiao, she would complain to Grandpa. Although he knew that Xiao Xiao was joking now, Xiaochen was still emotional. After sending Xiao Xiao back to the Xiao family and watching her enter the door, Xiaochen left. Sure enough, as soon as Xiaochen returned, he received a report from Xia Shibin, "Brother Yang, just now the warrior guild Songming branch reported to me that they found traces of you." "Xiaochen. How do you think we should deal with it?" "Tell them not to act rashly. They are not our opponents." Xiaochen said, "We will take over here." That's what I said." Xia Shibin nodded. Song Huawu, who was at the side, felt that it was a little strange. Previously, in Lego Town, the martial cavalry who fired the gun exploded, and now, this person from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau also exploded. Xiao Chen's move was really a little special, but why didn't Yang Tan's gun explode back then? "What's our next plan?" Xiao Chen looked at Song Huawu and Xia Shibin and asked. "There's no plan." Song Huawu said, "It's almost Chinese New Year. Basically, if the mission is not too special or important, it will be arranged to be carried out after Chinese New Year. However, the night after tomorrow, there will be an internal fellowship party of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau." "Oh? Then should I go?" Xiao Chen was stunned. He actually didn't want to attend such an occasion. There were too many people who knew Yang Jiannan, but he didn't know any of them. He was afraid that he would be exposed. "Of course, you have to go according to the usual practice." Song Huawu nodded. "What if I don't know anyone when I go? What if I get exposed?" Xiao Chen was a little worried. He was Xiao Chen. How could he know those people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Song Huawu smiled and said, "It's fine." In the past, when Yang Jiannan went to the cocktail party, he was also very cold and arrogant. He sat by himself and didn't talk to anyone. "Oh?" Xiao Chen asked curiously, then, no one took the initiative to talk to him? No one dared to talk to him with low levels of strength. As for those with high levels of strength, if he didn't take the initiative to talk to them, they wouldn't have the time to talk to him. Song Huawu explained, "Every time he went, other than flattering Xia Zhili, he would harass me. If I ignored him, he would go to the side with Xia Shibin to drink." "That's not bad." Xiao Chen was overjoyed when he heard this. This way, it wouldn't be difficult for him to disguise himself. It was very late, so Xia Shibin took his leave and went back to sleep. Song Huawu also went to wash up and prepare to sleep. Xiaochen also prepared to rest, but what made him puzzled was that Song Huawu actually pushed the two small beds in the room into one room, and then turned them into a big bed. Looking at the scene in front of him, Xiaochen couldn't help but be stunned. He shouted at Song Huawu, who was brushing her teeth in the bathroom, "Huawu, you made the bed together, how are we going to sleep at night?" "Lu lu lu." Song Huawu rinsed her mouth and spat out a mouthful of water. She said, "When we were in Lego Town, didn't we always sleep together? Why, did you go out for a walk and get tired of the old?" Xiao Chen was a little stunned. Listening to Song Huawu's somewhat calm tone, he was a little unable to understand Song Huawu's real thoughts. However, thinking that nothing had happened in the past few nights, Xiao Chen simply went directly to the bed, sat cross-legged, and prepared to cultivate. He had just broken through, and he still had to ask the Elder Heaven Ancestor what special ability he had. Elder Heaven Ancestor. Xiao Chen just said 2 words. "I sent it to you." The Elder Heaven Ancestor replied to him. Xiao Chen found that he and the Elder Heaven Ancestor really had a tacit understanding. He began to search in his mind. Sure enough, the ability of the 10th level of the Qi refinement stage had the ability to subdue the heavenly flame. Although the Samadhi true flame was strong, it was still a little lacking. The Samadhi true flame could be used to refine pills, ghost talismans, and devils, but it couldn't be used to refine weapons. The 10th level of the Qi refinement stage was the beginning of refining magic weapons. Xiao Chen had to prepare for the flying sword after he reached the foundation establishment stage, so he had to obtain a kind of heavenly flame. After that, there were some methods to refine magic weapons. The most important was to refine flying swords, but without the heavenly flame, Xiao Chen couldn't refine flying swords. Although he could use the finished flying swords, the key problem was, where could he find the finished flying swords? Here, the existence of the cultivators was very small, not to mention the magic weapons. Of course, magic weapons weren't limited to flying swords. There were some other things, such as alchemy furnace, which also belonged to the magic weapon category, but it required a very high level of forging skills to make. And refining a high-level magic weapon also depended on the level of the heavenly flame. In the information given to him by the Elder Heaven Ancestor, the heavenly flame was divided into 4 levels: heaven level, earth level, black level, and yellow level. Among them, the yellow level was the weakest, but it was also the starting point. The subduing of the heavenly flame also had to follow the order of the yellow Xian heaven and earth. Once it was disobeyed, not only could it not be subdued, it might even backfire. Therefore, Xiao Chen's current priority was to obtain a yellow-level heavenly flame. The heavenly flame was a kind of flame formed between heaven and earth. It was much more violent than the one that the cultivators condensed, and it was especially suitable for refining magic weapons. After reading the information, Xiao Chen was a little depressed. "Elder Heaven Ancestor, where can I find the heavenly flame?" "This depends on you, I don't know." The Elder Heaven Ancestor said, "But if you really don't have it, you can make some flying knives and carry them with you. They can barely be used as offensive magic weapons, but you can't use the flying sword." Xiao Chen was a little speechless after listening. What use could a small knife have? Unless it could be used when a warrior or a martial arts master was unprepared, it couldn't cause too much damage. As for dealing with ordinary people, there was no need to use flying knives at all, it was simply useless. That's right. Xiao Chen suddenly thought of something. Previously, in the Warrior Guild's file, he had seen the analysis of his father's disappearance. Although he didn't know why the trial team was going to the Hakonamata Desert, his father must have heard that there was a heavenly flame in the ruins of the Blazing Mountain. The water from it could be used to refine one's body, which was why he accepted this trial mission. So, there was a heavenly flame there? Thinking of this, Xiao Chen could not help but frown. Right now, he was unable to determine if there really was a heavenly flame there. From the strange matter of his father's disappearance, it was possible that this was a rumor fabricated by someone with ulterior motives to trick his father. Otherwise, his father wouldn't have accepted this trial mission so enthusiastically. But no matter what, regardless of whether the news about the heavenly flame was true or not, Xiaochen had the idea of going to the Hakonamata desert. He wouldn't be satisfied if he didn't personally investigate the place where his father disappeared. Even though he knew that after so many years, there might not be any clues left, he still wanted to go. Now that there was news about the heavenly flame, he had no choice but to go. However, his identity was different now. What reason could he use to go? This was a problem. Chapter 608. Although Xiaochen was currently on vacation, Xia Zhili would definitely question him if he went to the Hakonamata desert for no reason. It would not be easy to explain then. However, Xiaochen did not want to wait any longer. He wanted to find the truth behind his father's disappearance and the heavenly flame as soon as possible. Xiaochen took a deep breath and shook off his impulsive mind. Sometimes, haste makes waste. He had to find a suitable reason to do this. What are you doing? You're sighing and shaking your head. Do you still want to sleep? Song Huawu lifted the blanket and rubbed her body against the headboard. She looked at Xiaochen and said, "What are you doing? Are you drooling over me and unable to sleep? Don't joke around." Xiaochen shook his head and said, "I want to go to the Hakonamata desert." Song Huawu was slightly stunned. "Why do you want to go there?" "The last trial mission that my father did was to go to the ruins of the blazing mountain in the Hakonamata desert. He also went missing there, so I want to go and take a look," Xiaochen said. Song Huawu thought for a moment and asked, "You found out about this in the warrior guild?" Yes. I don't want to wait any longer. I want to go and take a look." It would have been fine if Xiaochen did not know about it in the past. However, now that he knew, he had to go and take a look. "But I don't have any reason. Xia Zhili might be suspicious." "Sigh, that's it? You're so stupid." Song Huawu yawned. "Didn't Xiaochen appear? You told Xia Zhili that Xiaochen knew that his father went missing in the Hakuna Mata desert, so he went to the Hakuna Mata desert. In order to chase after him, you also went there. Isn't that the reason?" "Huawu, you're too smart." Xiaochen slapped the bed, surprised and happy. "That's right. You're my Xiao, little Huawu. No matter how smart you are, it's never too much." Song Huawu snorted. She suddenly thought of Hongzhu. "Are you going to hug me?" "I'm not planning to." Xiaochen smiled and said, "Huawu, I feel that even though we are good friends, it's not appropriate for us to keep making such jokes. What if I take it seriously? Then you'll be responsible." Song Huawu said disapprovingly, "Is there anything else? If you don't do anything to me, I'm going to sleep." Yawn. "I'm so sleepy." As Song Huawu spoke, she snuggled into the bed, covered herself with the blanket, and closed her eyes. Xiaochen, on the other hand, started cultivating. It was a quiet night. The next morning, Xiaochen couldn't wait to call Xia Zhili. "Jiannan? What's wrong? Is it because of the appearance of Xiaochen?" Xia Zhili asked. "Yes, Deputy Director Xia. I heard that Xiaochen has already found out through special channels that his father went missing in the blazing mountain ruins in the Hakonamata desert. I'm afraid he has already fled to the Hakonamata desert, so I want to end my vacation and go to the Hakonamata desert to hunt him down." At this point, Xiaochen said hatefully, "He nearly took my life. I want to tear him into pieces." "Oh? Is that so? So he's already escaped?" Xia Zhili didn't think there was anything wrong with it. After all, young Jiannan and Xiaochen were irreconcilable enemies. It was normal for young Jiannan to want to kill Xiaochen. It was reasonable for him to end his vacation because he met his enemy. Yes, he must have escaped. Xiaochen said, if I were him, I would also go and find out that my father went missing in the Hakanamata desert. And, since you are willing to give up your vacation to hunt down Xiao Chen, there is naturally no problem. I can't stop you. Xia Zhili said, but tomorrow night, you must attend our Supernatural Investigation Bureau's party. You are now the newly appointed deputy team leader of Team B. You have to show your face and go to the Hakanamata desert after the party. No problem. Xiao Chen responded. He wasn't really going to chase after Xiao Chen. It didn't matter if he went a day earlier or a day later, so he directly agreed. Okay, when the time comes, I will also introduce you to the mysterious director of our Supernatural Investigation Bureau. He doesn't appear often. Now that you have made a great contribution, I will introduce you to him. You are also a general under me. Xia Zhili said. Thank you so much, Deputy Director Xia. Xiao Chen quickly said with fear and trepidation, but he didn't think so. Xia Zhili was just using him and the mysterious director to show off. In the end, it was for his own benefit. After hanging up the phone, Xiao Chen looked at Song Huawu next to him, who was glaring at him angrily. What are you doing? Xiao Chen was shocked. I was having a beauty nap, and you woke me up. Song Huawu said angrily, let me tell you, if I wasn't beautiful, would you marry me? Forget it. If it weren't for me, you would be sitting in a wheelchair now, Xiao Chen said. But I was also seen by you. How much does it cost to find someone to watch a live streamer's video? Besides, you also touched me. Song Huawu said, so we're even. That works too. Xiao Chen was a little speechless, but he didn't argue with her. Then you continue to sleep. I will go and cook. Okay, call me when it's done. Song Huawu closed her eyes again. Xiao Chen made breakfast, but he thought of Su Chuxia and Tian Suruan. I wonder how they are. It was as if he had never left Songning, and what happened in Lan City was just a dream. After breakfast was ready, Song Huawu had already woken up without Xiao Chen calling her. She sat at the table in a daze and began to eat. You woke up in time. Xiao Chen smiled. I can smell the fragrance. Song Huawu said while eating. After eating, let's pack up and go to Tianfang province. The headquarters of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau is there. Xiao Chen nodded and sat down to eat. After breakfast, Xiao Chen, Song Huawu, and Xia Shibin rushed to the airport. They had already booked plane tickets to Chidu City, the provincial capital of Tianfang province. Of course, not everyone could attend the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's fellowship party. Only people at the level of Yang Jiannan and Song Huawu could attend, and Xia Shibin went as an attendant. Because the plane tickets were booked at the last minute, when they rushed to the airport, the plane was about to depart. Most of the passengers had already changed their boarding passes and passed the security check, waiting to board. The seats of Xiao Chen and the other two were not connected. At this moment, they could not choose to sit next to each other. Xiao Chen did not care about this. Anyway, it would only take a few hours. They would arrive at their destination in a daze. After passing the security check quickly, the boarding had already begun. The three of them finally caught the plane, took the boarding pass, and looked for their respective seats. Xiao Chen compared the boarding pass and found his seat. However, to his surprise, there was already someone sitting in his seat. This made him a little puzzled. He looked at the boarding pass and then looked at the seat number. There was no mistake. Miss, may I ask if you're a 36A? Xiao Chen smiled and asked the girl sitting in his seat. After the girl heard Xiao Chen's words, she was suddenly stunned. Her face was a little red, and she said weakly, I am obviously 36B. Lan Xinxin was a little annoyed after saying this sentence. Whether I am 36A or 36B, what does it have to do with this person? Is there something wrong with this person? Why is he asking about other people's chest size? She was also honest, so she said it. In fact, Lan Xinxin's chest was a little small. She was usually most depressed when others talked about her flat chest, so she subconsciously retorted. But after saying it, she regretted it a little. Why did I tell my privacy to a stranger? Thinking of this, Lan Xinxin ignored Xiaochen. She turned her head and looked out of the window of the plane. Xiaochen was a little puzzled. What's wrong with this chick? She already admitted that she is 36B, but she still sits in the 36A seat. Really? If you want to lean against the window, just say it. It's not like I don't want to change seats with you. Why are you ignoring me? However, Xiaochen didn't say much. He sat in the 36B seat. Since the 36A was occupied by her, then Xiaochen could only do so. However, Lan Xinxin was shocked. She didn't expect that the man who asked about her chest size would suddenly sit next to her. This made her a little nervous. Is this person a pervert? Otherwise, after asking about my chest size, why is he sitting next to me? However, Lan Xinxin didn't ask. She was afraid that if she spoke, this person would endlessly pester her. However, when she thought of the long journey and this perverted pervert sitting next to her, she felt uncomfortable all over. Thinking of this, Lan Xinxin finally gathered her courage and said to Xiaochen, "Hey, the seat you are sitting in is mine. Please go back to your seat." Xiaochen was originally closing his eyes to rest. When he heard Lan Xinxin's words, he was a little puzzled. I'm going back to my seat? Then I'm going to sit on you. You. When Lan Xinxin heard Xiaochen's words, she thought, this person is really a pervert. His words are taking advantage of me. You don't have a seat for yourself? Yes, it was occupied by you. Xiaochen looked at Lan Xinxin with an inexplicable and innocent face. My seat is 36A. I just asked you. You said you were 36B, but I saw that you didn't intend to give up your seat, so I could only sit on your 36B. Where else can I sit? You are talking about the seat on the plane? Lan Xinxin was stunned. She looked up at the seat number above her head and suddenly understood. Their row was row 36, and the seat by the window was 36A. It turned out that this person was asking for her seat number, but she thought that he was asking about her chest size. Thinking of this, Lan Xinxin suddenly felt a little embarrassed. She saw that the seat by the window was empty, so she sat on it. Xiaochen and the others were the last to board the plane. It was no wonder that Lan Xinxin thought that there was no one in this seat. Chapter 609. Now that she thought about it, he didn't mean anything else at all. Lan Xinxin suddenly felt a little ashamed. I'm sorry. I'll switch with you, that's not necessary. If you like 36A, then 36A is fine. Xiaochen smiled and shook his head. This girl is really strange. She looks pretty, but why does she feel a little unconventional and stupid? No, I don't like 36A. Lan Xinxin said subconsciously, but after saying it, she realized that she said it wrong. But she still wanted to switch because she now remembered that the seat she was sitting in was 36A. She remembered that she was flat-chested, so she wanted to change. I'm still 36B, oh, then it's up to you. Xiaochen stood up, but the guest in seat 36C next to him had already put down his luggage and sat down. After this person sat down, he closed his eyes and started snoring. Xiaochen didn't know if he was really asleep or pretending. Although Xiaochen wasn't afraid of him, he didn't want to cause trouble on the plane, so he said, I will lift the seat first, and then you come over from in front of me. I will then move over, Lan Xinxin nodded to show her agreement. However, when she stood up and moved to Xiaochen's side, she suddenly remembered that her buttocks were facing Xiaochen. Moreover, because she wanted to rub against him, she twisted her buttocks. This made her face a little hot. She also felt some self-pity. Lan Xinxin, you are so stupid. How can you do this? Isn't this equivalent to showing off to others? However, it was already like this. She could only speed up and want to move over quickly. Who would have thought that she would be anxious and directly knock the small table in front of the seat? She was shocked. She subconsciously dodged back and directly sat on Xiao Chen's body. Lan Xinxin was a cute beauty. Although she looked a little stupid, this kind of girl could make people more excited sometimes. So, Xiao Chen was the same at this moment. Lan Xinxin also felt that something was wrong for a moment. She subconsciously stood up again, but she used too much force and hit the small table in front of her that was completely open. She bounced back and sat on Xiao Chen's body again. However, this time, Xiao Chen didn't feel it at all. Because, he was directly broken by Lan Xinxin. He could even hear the crisp, kacha sound. Ah! Xiao Chen screamed. He was sweating from the pain. Lan Xinxin also noticed that something was wrong. Although she was stupid, she also knew what happened. She stood up in a hurry, but she saw that Xiao Chen's face had turned green. Are you alright? I'll send you to the hospital. His face turned pale with fright. Xiao Chen grimaced in pain. In fact, this matter couldn't be blamed on Lan Xinxin. Who asked Xiao Chen to be tempted? But this Lan Xinxin was accurate enough. It really made him very depressed. Xiao Chen waved his hand and slowly moved his body away. He sat inside 36A by the window. Looking at Xiao Chen's painful look, Lan Xinxin was scared. She also heard the crisp sound just now. She also saw similar news reports. Combined with Xiao Chen's current appearance, he would definitely be broken. Fortunately, he was a cultivator and could repair himself. Otherwise, he would really be crippled. It would be difficult to recover even if he went to the hospital. Xiao Chen thought that this chick was too much of a scam. If he really broke, it would be over. Sir, are you really okay? Lan Xinxin looked at Xiao Chen nervously and said, if there is a problem, let's go to the hospital quickly. I have an acquaintance in the hospital. I have a sister there. If you are afraid of losing face, we can go secretly, no need. Xiao Chen was a little speechless. Go secretly? Obviously, you are the one who caused me to break. What is there for me to lose face? You really don't need it? Lan Xinxin asked with uncertainty. Really? Even if there is something, I won't look for you. Okay. Xiao Chen didn't want to talk too much about this topic. There were so many people on the plane. Those who didn't know would think that something was wrong with him. Then, that's okay. Lan Xinxin saw that Xiao Chen's attitude was firm, so she could only give up. However, she was a little uneasy in her heart. She still secretly observed Xiao Chen and found that Xiao Chen was picking up a magazine issued on the plane at the moment. It seemed that there was no adverse reaction, so she was slightly relieved. After a while, the plane was ready to take off. It entered the runway and taxied. Lan Xinxin looked at Xiao Chen again and saw that he was still fine. She heaved a sigh of relief and picked up the newspaper to read. After the plane flew smoothly, the stewardess began to distribute drinks and snacks. The man on the other side of Lan Xinxin seemed to wake up and ordered a cup of coffee. Lan Xinxin asked for a glass of milk, and Xiao Chen asked for a glass of water. He was a little thirsty. After drinking, he planned to go to the bathroom. He wanted to go before, but seeing that the man was sleeping, he didn't want to disturb him. I'm going to the bathroom. Xiao Chen said to Lan Xinxin. Ah. Lan Xinxin was stunned. Are you going to check if it's broken? Xiao Chen suddenly had a black line. What kind of logic is this? Looking at Xiao Chen's black face and not answering, Lan Xinxin thought that she had guessed it right. It must be like this, so she suddenly felt a little nervous. If Xiaochen went to the bathroom, it must mean that he is uncomfortable. There is a problem. Otherwise, why would he go to the bathroom? Thinking of this, Lan Xinxin was very apologetic. Why don't I accompany you to take a look? If there is any problem, I can help you. I'm going to pee. Can you help me too? Xiaochen didn't know what to say. Is this a silly girl? Then I can help you check to see if it can pee. Lan Xinxin said. No, I can check it myself. Xiaochen said, you should get out of the way. I will pee in my pants. Oh, then you come back. Be sure to tell me the result, said Lan Xinxin. Xiaochen left speechlessly. He passed by Xia Shibin's seat. He wanted to change seats with him, but he didn't expect this guy to fall asleep. Song Huawu was in the front business class, so Xiaochen was too lazy to look for her. After going to the bathroom, Xiaochen did a quick check. He heaved a sigh of relief when he realized that he had perfectly repaired Lu Shuangshuang. In fact, if he could repair Lu Shuangshuang, he could not do much either. However, he felt a little more confident after looking at her. Walking back to his seat, Xiaochen saw the man next to him talking to Lan Xinxin. They seemed to be talking about something. When he saw Xiaochen coming back, he just stood up, opened the luggage rack, and took out his box from it. Xiaochen also returned to his seat. Miss, look. These are the jade that I want to take to the auction. If you like it, I can sell it to you at the starting price. Who asked us to take the same plane? This is also fate. The man said as he opened his box. Xiaochen glanced at it. There were a lot of jade carvings in it. They were all kinds of beautiful, but Xiaochen couldn't feel any aura. However, when Xiaochen took a closer look, he couldn't say that those were all fake. There were indeed fakes in it, but there were also real ones. It could be said that it was a mix of real and fake. Lan Xinxin's eyes were already bright. She said eagerly, then, Brother Chen, do you have a jade pendant made of the best warm jade? The so-called warm jade, also known as warm jade, was actually a type of nephrite. Because nephrite's color and texture were as smooth as fat, it gave people a warm feeling. As for the top-grade warm jade, it was warm to the touch. It was the top-grade warm jade, and this type of nephrite was very rare. However, Xiaochen knew that some spiritual jades had this kind of feeling. However, not all spiritual jades had this kind of feeling, because there were also spiritual jades in the cold jade. Yes, of course there are. The man called Brother Chen carefully took out a small box from the bottom of the box. He opened it carefully and took out a jade pendant. This was a carving in the shape of a big coin. It was very exquisite and beautiful. Is this really a top-grade warm jade? Lan Xinxin was stunned. My mother is sick. Her body is cold all year round. A Taoist priest once said that wearing a top-grade warm jade can alleviate the illness. That's really a coincidence. This is also a top-grade warm jade. I originally wanted to sell it at the auction, but since we are fated, I don't mind selling it to you. Brother Chen said. Really? Lan Xinxin couldn't believe that her luck was so good. Her hands trembled as she took the jade pendant from Brother Chen. Once it touched her hand, she couldn't help but exclaim, it really is a warm jade. It feels warm to the touch, so magical. Right, you are also very lucky. If you didn't meet me, this top-grade warm jade is really hard to come by. Ordinary warm jade isn't this magical. Brother Chen nodded and said. Xiaochen was stunned. He didn't know whether the other top-grade warm jades had spiritual energy. In any case, this one didn't. However, looking at the condition of this jade, it should be a real one. Xiaochen couldn't determine whether it was real or fake, so he didn't interrupt. Lan Xinxin held the jade pendant in her hand. It was obvious that she couldn't let go of it. After looking at it for a long time, she confirmed that it was what she needed. She couldn't help but be surprised and happy. "Brother Chen, how much is this top-grade warm jade?" 10 million. Brother Chen said, "Of course, I can't sell this jade to you at the starting price because it is more precious. I estimate that if it is put up for auction, it can be sold for at least 20 million. Of course, the auction will take a 40% commission, so the remaining price will be 12 million. I will give you a discount to round it up to 10 million. 10 million? Xiao Chen was a little surprised. Is this silly girl very rich? I didn't see it, but the person next to me actually saw it. Otherwise, whether the jade in his hand was real or fake, he wouldn't pick a poor person to fool. 10 million. Lan Xinxin frowned. It's a little expensive. Chapter 6:10. But good things are expensive. Think about it. 10 million yuan or your mother's illness, which is more important? Brother Chen said, I see that you are a little girl, so I sold it to you for 10 million yuan. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said such nonsense. Ah, Brother Chen is right. I'll buy it. After Lan Xinxin heard it, she immediately nodded. But, I can't give you the money on the plane now. Just transfer it to your mobile phone. Brother Chen smiled. When the plane lands and you can turn on your mobile phone, transfer it to me. Okay. Lan Xinxin nodded after listening. Then. I'll return it to you first, no need. You can look at it yourself first. You can also carefully evaluate whether this jade pendant is worth the money. Brother Chen smiled. You are sitting on the plane. Do you think I'm afraid that you will run away? Hee, that's true. Lan Xinxin smiled and continued to play with the jade pendant in her hand, but her face was full of excitement. You can look at it first and think about it calmly. If you think it's good, you can transfer it to me when the plane lands. If it's not good, you can return it to me. Brother Chen smiled generously. It doesn't matter. This thing can't be broken anyway. And, then I'll think about it. Lan Xinxin felt that what Brother Chen said was reasonable, and it seemed to be very sincere. However, the price of 10 million yuan was really expensive. Even for her, it was difficult to take it out. Although her family had some money, because her mother wasn't the legal wife, she usually didn't have much pocket money. She was also very thrifty. Otherwise, she wouldn't be sitting in economy class on the plane. Hee, it's okay. You take a look first. Brother Chen smiled. After that, he didn't say much and waited for Lan Xinxin to evaluate it herself. On Lan Xinxin's side, she turned her head and asked Xiao Chen, "Oh yeah, you, how are you? Is it good there?" "It's not good. If I don't suffocate, can I still come back?" Xiao Chen was a little speechless. This Lan Xinxin, it took a long time to react and ask me. The most important thing is that she actually remembered this matter. No, I mean, other aspects. Is it good? Asked Lan Xinxin. Other aspects? Xiao Chen rolled his eyes and didn't know what to say. As for the rest, how would you know if it's good or not if you don't try it? Do you want to try it with me? Xiao Chen was really annoyed by her and said impatiently. With me? Lan Xinxin was a little hesitant. She was indeed very worried about Xiao Chen's situation, but it didn't seem right to try it with her. She was still a virgin, how could she try it so casually? Besides, what if she got pregnant? Just like her mother, she had a very low status in the family. Therefore, she thought for a moment and said weakly, "Why don't I spend some money to find a prostitute for you to try it out? Do you think I can agree?" Xiao Chen asked. Yeah. Lan Xinxin nodded. That really can't be easily agreed. If we find someone who is sick and gets a more serious infectious disease, it will be even worse. Xiao Chen didn't want to talk to this silly girl anymore. Then, how about I use my hands to help you try it? Lan Xinxin struggled for a long time before she gathered her courage and said. Do I need you to use my hands? I don't have my own hands. Xiaochen said, okay, you don't have to worry about it. I won't look for you even if I'm crippled, okay? Then I will feel uneasy. You can't really do it, right? Lan Xinxin heard Xiaochen's tone, and it seemed that he was angry, so she asked quickly. Let me see the jade pendant in your hand. Xiaochen had to change the topic. He didn't want to discuss this kind of personal issue with the silly girl. He wasn't familiar with her. Xiaochen felt weird talking about these things. Oh, okay. Lan Xinxin gave the jade pendant to Xiaochen. Do you also understand jade? I know a little bit. Xiaochen took the jade pendant and looked at it in his hand. Indeed, the moment the jade pendant touched his hand, it became incomparably warm. However, Xiaochen felt that it was a little strange. The heat of this thing didn't seem to be anything good. It didn't seem to be the heat emitted from the inside of the jade pendant, but the outer layer was a little hot. Of course, if one wasn't a cultivator, it was difficult for the average person to feel it. Only people with a keen perception like Xiaochen could distinguish it. There was definitely a problem with this jade. Let's not talk about whether the foundation of this jade was real or fake, but this warm jade was definitely fake. Although Xiaochen didn't want to talk to this silly girl, Lan Xinxin, this silly girl was very kind. After all, it was 10 million yuan. Xiaochen didn't want her to be cheated, so he quietly gathered a samadhi true fire in his hand and quickly burned the surface of the jade pendant. This action was completed in an instant. It was very fast, so naturally, no one noticed it. Sure enough, after Xiaochen burned the jade pendant, the previous warm feeling disappeared. Xiaochen sneered in his heart. Sure enough. If his guess was right, I'm afraid that Brother Chen smeared a material on the jade pendant. This material would heat up when it touched the hand to disguise it as warm jade. This layer of material was burned by Xiaochen's samadhi true fire, so this jade pendant also became an ordinary jade pendant. It didn't have the warm effect. This jade isn't warm. There's no special feeling. Xiaochen pretended to be puzzled. Isn't this an ordinary jade pendant? What function does it have? No, it's warm jade. Lan Xinxin said as she took the jade pendant back from Xiaochen's hand, but she was suddenly stunned. The previous warm feeling really disappeared. She suddenly had some doubts. Brother Chen, this jade pendant isn't warm anymore? Brother Chen's heart suddenly dropped. It shouldn't be. The layer on the jade pendant, even if you touch it with your hand, won't fall off in a short time. At least it can last for a month or two. Why is it gone? He subconsciously took Lan Xinxin's jade pendant, and his face suddenly changed. Sure enough, this jade pendant didn't have a warm feeling, but it became extremely cold. It wasn't warm jade anymore. Although Brother Chen didn't know what the problem was, he was very unwilling to see this business go down the drain. It wasn't easy for him to meet a rich customer like Lan Xinxin, and she was in urgent need of warm jade. If he couldn't cheat her money, he would really regret it. The reason why he knew that Lan Xinxin was rich was because of his observation of people's words and expressions. Lan Xinxin had the temperament of a lady from a wealthy family. Although she looked silly, this temperament couldn't be changed. Also, Lan Xinxin's watch couldn't be bought without a few million. This watch was a gift from Lan Xinxin's father for her 18th birthday. It was also the only valuable thing on Lan Xinxin. However, it was seen by Brother Chen, who had sharp eyes. How could a person who could wear such an expensive watch be poor? Although Lan Xinxin's clothes were very ordinary. Therefore, he wasn't reconciled. He saw that 10 million was in the bag, but it was gone in the blink of an eye. He gritted his teeth and prepared to cause trouble. Are you guys in the same group? Did you guys collude to break my jade pendant? I. Lan Xinxin was shocked. She didn't expect Brother Chen, who was very kind a moment ago, to become fierce in the blink of an eye. How can this jade pendant be broken? It's not broken. Why did it fail? It was warm just now. You tested it yourself, but after you guys touched it, it became like this. It was either broken by you guys, or it was replaced. Brother Chen snorted and said, "You know what you have done. Do you think I'm easy to bully? Let me tell you, I have people in Tianfang province. If you don't pay, don't think about leaving the airport. If you lose an arm or a leg, don't blame me for being merciless." He was also anxious. The money was going to fly away. He simply shed all pretense of cordiality. Since he couldn't cheat anymore, he directly changed to threats and extortion. I. Lan Xinxin was scared by Brother Chen. She was about to cry. I really didn't do anything. Is it interesting? Xiao Chen frowned. He couldn't stand it anymore. He exposed the problem of the jade pendant. If this Brother Chen gave up, Xiao Chen wouldn't have the intention to find trouble with him. After all, he was just a small liar. Xiao Chen couldn't be bothered with this kind of person. But now, this person was even threatening and intimidating. Xiao Chen was a little sick of it. You know what is going on in your heart. Don't make a fuss. Calm down. If you continue to be a busybody, I won't let you get off the plane. Shout. Brother Chen didn't expect Xiao Chen to actually speak. What? Are you trying to be a hero saving the beauty? But is there any use in saving the beauty? That thing is broken, right? Don't think that I didn't hear it just now. You're just a little eunuch. Go to the side and don't be a busybody. The jade just now became like this in my hands. If there's anything, look for me. Xiao Chen directly said to Lan Xinxin, you better go to 36A. I'll sit here with you. Kid, are you trying to be unreasonable with me? Brother Chen wasn't afraid of Xiao Chen at all. He whistled. Suddenly, the two macho men in the front and back stood up from their seats and stared at Xiao Chen coldly. You're trying to cause trouble on the plane, right? Xiao Chen glanced at Brother Chen and slapped him. He directly sent him flying into the plane's aisle. The two macho men didn't expect Xiao Chen to dare to make the first move in this situation. They were suddenly stunned. If it was during normal times, when their fraud was exposed, as long as the two of them stood there, wouldn't the other people obediently compromise and beg for mercy? But who would have thought that Xiao Chen didn't play by the rules? He was quite strong, and with one slap, he made the other person tumble. Kid, are you looking for death? The two macho men directly jumped over and wanted to make a move on Xiao Chen. Idiot! Xiao Chen grabbed the hair of the two men with one hand and slammed them hard. The two macho men were directly hit until they saw stars and fainted on the aisle. Lan Xinxin was dumbfounded. She didn't expect Xiao Chen to be so fierce. He just casually hit the three macho men until they lost their ability to move. Chapter 611. At this time, the flight attendants on the plane also noticed that there was a fight and quickly called for the police. Two police officers quickly ran over and glared at Xiao Chen. Why are you fighting on the plane? These three are swindlers. Arrest them. After the plane lands, send them to the airport police station. Xiao Chen said to the two policemen. The two policemen were stunned. They did not believe Xiao Chen's words and looked at Xiao Chen suspiciously. At this time, Xiaofan had the awareness of being a lackey. He rushed forward and pulled one of the policemen to the side. Then, he took out his ID and said, Officer, I'm from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. That's our team leader. This is my ID. The policeman was stunned. After carefully looking at Xiaofan's ID, he nodded his head and believed him. Since Xiao Chen was the team leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, then his words were naturally convincing. He quickly whispered a few words to the other policemen and took the 3 people on the ground away. On the other hand, Lan Xinxin was a little puzzled. Why did these 2 policemen believe Xiao Chen's words? He didn't even ask much and just took them away. Could it be that these 3 were repeat offenders, so the police immediately recognized that there was a problem with them? Yes, that must be it, Lan Xinxin thought. These things came and went quickly. In the blink of an eye, they had calmed down. Even the passengers on the plane did not understand what was going on. Although everyone saw the fight, the 3 of them were quickly taken away by the police. They were all discussing whether or not the 3 of them were wanted criminals. You. Why are you fine? Lan Xinxin was a little strange. It seemed like Xiao Chen had beaten him up, but nothing had happened. The police seemed to trust him a lot. Do you want something to happen to me? Xiao Chen asked. That's not it. Lan Xinxin quickly shook her head and said, thank you very much. I was almost deceived, I really didn't know that you were a rich person. You actually have 10 million? If I had known earlier, I would have asked you for 10 million yuan just now. Xiao Chen said. Ah, then there's really a problem there? Lan Xinxin was shocked and looked at Xiao Chen worriedly. Xiao Chen was a little speechless. How could this silly girl not know what was a joke? No wonder she was so gullible. That big brother Chen specifically chose her. No problem for the time being, Xiao Chen said. Oh, then I'll tell you my cell phone number. If you have a problem there, be sure to call me. I'll help you find a way. Lan Xinxin said quickly and told him her cell phone number. Okay. Xiao Chen wrote down the number, but he definitely wouldn't call her because of this. What about you? Lan Xinxin asked again. Forget about me. If there's nothing else, I won't look for you. Xiao Chen didn't want to contact this silly girl again. No way. If there's something wrong there, and you're embarrassed to tell me, I will feel bad. Lan Xinxin said quickly. Xiao Chen had no choice but to tell her his way number. I always change my cell phone number. You can add this. NN, then I will add it when the plane lands. Lan Xinxin nodded. Thank you very much just now. I was almost blackmailed by that person. It's nothing. It's just a convenience. Xiao Chen waved his hand. Right, what's your name? I still don't know yet. My name is Lan Xinxin. Lan Xinxin introduced herself. Also, what are you doing in Tianfang province? Where are you from? Are you from Songning? Xiao Chang. I'm from Songning. I'm going to do something. Xiao Chen answered briefly. I see. I'm going to Tianfang province to play. If you have nothing to do, why don't you come with me? Lan Xinxin invited. Go with you? Xiao Chen was stunned. Are you really stupid or pretending to be stupid? You were almost cheated just now. You still want to invite a strange man to play with you. Aren't you afraid of being cheated into bed? Ah. Lan Xinxin didn't expect Xiao Chen to say this. I think you are a good person. I hurt you, but you didn't take the opportunity to threaten me. If it were Brother Chen, he would probably ask me for a huge compensation, right? Moreover, I said that I would help you check, but you didn't want to. I think you are a gentleman. You wouldn't lie to me to sleep, right? Xiao Chen listened to Lan Xinxin's analysis. He didn't know if it was because her logical thinking was strong or because she was too simple. It was a miracle that she could live to this age without anything happening to her. Lan Xinxin, let me give you a piece of advice. I'm not a good person. A silly girl like you is more likely to arouse a man's desire to conquer. If you keep doing this, I might really push you down. Xiao Chen said directly, don't trust others so easily. If you don't know them, do you know what they are thinking? N. My brother used to accompany me out, but he has something to do this time. Also, I can tell that he doesn't want to play with me. Every day, he thinks about fighting for power and how to be the young master of the family. He thinks that I'm too childish. Lan Xinxin said gloomily, but I know that brother Xiao Chang is a good person. If you were really a bad person, you wouldn't have said so much to me, and you wouldn't have reminded me. That's not necessarily true. Sometimes, bad people also need to disguise themselves. Xiao Chen said, look at brother Chen just now. His attitude is completely different from before. It's like he's a different person. What do you think? This. Lan Xinxin thought about it. It was indeed the case. Brother Chen was very warm and acted very generous and approachable. In fact, it was to carry out his scam plan. Thinking of this, Lan Xinxin was a little silent. It's really difficult to get along with people. Can't you be more honest? You better not go out by yourself in the future. Hurry up and go home. Find a good person to marry. Stay at home and take care of your husband and children. Don't go out and run around. It's too dangerous outside. Xiao Chen didn't know what to say, so he could only persuade her like this. Oh. Lan Xinxin nodded. She tilted her head and frowned slightly. She looked like she couldn't figure it out. Xiao Chen ignored her and read the newspaper on his own as he passed the rest of the journey. As for Lan Xinxin, she could also tell that Xiao Chen didn't want to continue talking to her. She could only listen to her MP3 player in boredom. The plane landed. She took out her phone and added Xiao Chen's Weixin. When she got off the plane, Lan Xinxin still greeted Xiao Chen. Brother Xiao, I'm leaving. You have to contact me. This sentence happened to be heard by Song Huawu. Xia Shibin quickly blinked at Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen was inexplicable when he heard Song Huawu ask, who is she? Are you hooking up with a girl on the plane? Aren't there any beautiful women at home? N? Xiao Chen was stunned. You mean Qing Menjiang? Xia Shibin found it a little funny, but it wasn't appropriate to interrupt. Your eyesight isn't good. Who have you been sleeping with every day recently? Song Huawu glared at Xiao Chen. Seeing that he still had an inexplicable expression, she suddenly stomped her feet in anger. Me? You are Yang Jianan now, okay? You should be flirting with me, not flirting with other little girls. Oh. Xiao Chen suddenly realized. He suddenly remembered that his identity was indeed Yang Jianan. Yang Jianan pursued Song Huawu very closely, but why did Song Huawu's attitude just now seem a little off? It seems like she's jealous. What's with the oh? If you don't want to expose yourself, be more attentive. Quick, help me carry my bag. Song Huawu handed her bag to Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen and Xia Shibin didn't have any luggage. Only Song Huawu had a big bag of things. Men and women were different when they went out. They still had to bring all kinds of clothes. Even Song Huawu was no exception. The three of them called a taxi at the airport and went to the venue of the fellowship party. The reception was in a 5-star hotel. This was a hotel operated by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's headquarters in Tianfang Province. Usually, there were some meetings, get-togethers, and people from the branch who came on business trips. At other times, it would also be open to the public and earn some mission funds. However, the fellowship party hadn't started yet. It would only be held tomorrow night. The few of them arrived first, so they naturally booked a room and checked in. Here, there was no need for Xiao Chen and Song Huawu to stay in the same room. It wasn't good to be too intimate. The three of them went upstairs and settled down in the room. They prepared to eat something. There was a buffet that was provided all day and could be enjoyed by guests at any time. Due to the special nature of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's mission, they didn't have to come at a certain time. Everyone didn't have a regular meal, so they set up such a 24-hour restaurant. As for the other staff working at the headquarters, they could also come here to eat their meals. After all, it was sometimes late at night when they got off work. It wasn't easy to find a place to eat. Even if there was one, it might not be to their liking. In the spacious restaurant, there were 2 neat rows of buffet tables in the middle. They were filled with all kinds of alcohol and delicacies. There was a wide variety of them, and it was very complete. It was as if the special snacks of various places could be found here. When Xiaofan smelled the aroma of the food, his appetite was immediately aroused. He had only been given some small food on the plane, but it wasn't enough. He was hungry too, so he picked up the plate and started to put things in it. In the restaurant, on the side of the floor-to-ceiling window was the table and chair area. At that moment, many people were sitting there, eating and chatting. However, there were a few young people sitting at a table near the corner. When Xiaofan and the others came in, they immediately saw them. "Brother De, isn't that Song Huawu?" One of the young men immediately said. "Yes, I saw her, but why is she talking and laughing with Yang Jiannan? Didn't they have a bad relationship in the past?" The person called Brother De's expression immediately turned ugly. He was also a suitor of Song Huawu. Previously, although he knew that Yang Jiannan had been pursuing Song Huawu didn't respond at all. Therefore, he didn't treat Yang Jiannan as a competitor. Chapter 6:12. In his opinion, as long as Song Huawu didn't like Yang Jiannan, he would be able to win her over sooner or later. But today, he felt a sense of crisis. This won't do. Looking at the situation, did the relationship between the two become better? Yeah, I also heard that the relationship between them is very bad. In the past, they didn't go together at the annual gathering. Yang Jiannan was with Xiaofan. The young man nodded. "Little Ma, let's go and say hello." Brother De couldn't sit still. He stood up and said to the young man. "Okay." Little Ma naturally followed Brother De's lead. Xiaofan, Song Huawu, and Xiaofan just took the food and found a seat to sit down. Then, they saw someone come over to say hello. Seeing the person, Song Huawu frowned slightly. Xiaofan lowered his voice and said to Xiaofan, "Brother Yang, your love rival is here." "Love rival?" Xiaofan was slightly stunned. "What love rival?" "The man in front is called Pangfengde. He is the leader of the newcomer training group of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. The one behind him is his follower, who is the same role as me. His name is Ma Jisheng." Xiaofan quickly introduced. "Newcomer training group leader? What position is that?" However, after Xiaofan asked, before Xiaofan could answer, the two people came over. "Huawu, team leader Yang, you are here?" Pangfengde deliberately put Yang Jiannan at the back. Obviously, he didn't put Yang Jiannan in his eyes. As for his identity as the deputy team leader of Team B, he probably didn't know yet. "Huawu, why didn't you say hello? I'm going to pick you up." Pangfengde's words and actions were very appropriate and passionate. However, he didn't look at Xiaofan at all. His eyes were fixed on Song Huawu. "Who is this?" Xiaofan stood up. He wanted to say hello to this colleague, but he didn't expect that he didn't even look at him. He was a little angry. "You motherf asterisk cur. I'm giving you face. Who do you think you are?" When Song Huawu heard Xiaofan's words, her heart skipped a beat. She didn't expect Xiaofan to be so disrespectful. Wasn't this going to ruin their relationship? What's more, Yang Jiannan used to retreat whenever he saw Pangfengde. He wasn't Pangfengde's opponent at all. Now that he suddenly became so arrogant, wasn't there a problem? Xiaofan's words also surprised Pangfengde. What's wrong with this guy today? How dare he challenge me? The follower called Xiaoma also widened his eyes. He poked Pangfengde lightly and said, brother De, how did this kid become so awesome? Is there a problem? When Xiaochen saw that Song Huawu was also looking at him with such a surprised expression, he immediately knew that it was not good. He reckoned that Yang Jiannan must have been very afraid of this person in front of him in the past. Otherwise, they wouldn't have such an expression. But how would Xiaochen know this before? He saw that Yang Jiannan was so awesome wherever he went, and he had Xia Zhili as his backer. He thought that Yang Jiannan was awesome wherever he went. It seemed that he was wrong. However, he also reacted quickly. Huawu, doesn't he know that I'm now the deputy leader of Team B of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? I'm waiting to take over now. Don't tell me he doesn't know. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Our brother Yang is now the deputy leader of Team B. He will be the leader soon. Xia Shibin also immediately said in cooperation. Xiaochen's explanation was reasonable. Sure enough, Pang Fengda's face showed a look of realization. It turned out that Yang Jiannan was so awesome because he was appointed as the deputy leader of Team B. He really didn't know. After all, this matter hadn't been spread yet, but he knew that Yang Jiannan and Song Huawu went on a mission a while ago and won a great victory. It must be because of this. He, deputy leader of Team B? Is it amazing? Pang Fengda smiled faintly and said disdainfully, I can tell you that even some of the people in Team A graduated under me. Yang Jiannan, don't tell me that you think you're amazing just because you're promoted? Brother De, he's just overconfident. If he's capable, fight with brother De. Won't you beat him up? Xiao Ma chuckled at the side. It's easy and fun for me to beat you, but I don't have time to bother with you. Since Xiaochen was already arrogant, he had to persist. If he backed out halfway, it would be even more suspicious. Huawu, don't bother with him. Let's eat. Great, Yang Jiannan, you're great. Pang Fengda saw that Xiaochen ignored him, and he suddenly became furious. Tonight, in the hotel's basement practice room, I want to challenge you. Do you dare? In the past, every time Pang Fengda mentioned a challenge, Yang Jiannan would be scared **less. He would either find an excuse to avoid it, or he would simply hide behind Xia Zhili. He didn't dare to accept the challenge, so Pang Fengda directly proposed a challenge. Now they were in the buffet restaurant. Although he was annoyed, he didn't lose his mind. If he made a move here, he would definitely be punished. Whether he won or lost, he had already lost. I'm not going. Xiaochen shook his head and said, I want to eat. Why? Yang Jiannan, are you afraid? When Pang Fengda heard it, he raised his head proudly. With an arrogant look, he looked down on Xiaochen and said, weren't you quite arrogant just now? Why did you become a tortoise when I mentioned a challenge? Xiaochen refused, and even Xia Shibin was stunned. He looked at him with some doubts. Xia Shibin knew Xiaochen's temper better. Isn't this guy very overbearing and never admits defeat? Moreover, he had a strong look just now. Why did he suddenly shrink back? At this time, Xiaochen said indifferently, I'm not afraid of you. Do you think I should challenge just because you say so? Why should I listen to you? This. Xiaochen's words made Pang Fengda speechless. Thinking about it, what Xiaochen said was right. Why should I listen to you? However, he still said, don't say these useless things. Just say if you dare or not. I dare. After Xiaochen finished speaking, he began to eat. This made Pang Fengda very angry. If you dare, then why don't you continue? I waited for you for a long time, and you're eating? So, he couldn't help but ask, since you dare, then let's challenge at 10 o'clock tonight in the practice room below the hotel. See you there. Oh, I'm not going, said Xiaochen. You. Pang Fengda was furious. Yang Jiannan, are you playing with me? Don't think that I don't dare to do anything to you in the restaurant. When we get out of the restaurant, do you believe that I will secretly kill you? Oh, I don't believe it, said Xiaochen. You. Can't you say 2 more words? Pang Fengde didn't expect Yang Jiannan to be so irritating. Is this guy on the wrong medicine? In the past, he would hide when he saw me. Why is he so arrogant today? Even if he is the deputy leader of Team B of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, he doesn't have to be like this, right? Oh, F***ck your mother, said Xiaochen. Why. Pang Fengde jumped 3 feet high and pointed at Xiaochen. He shouted angrily, I want to challenge you to a life-and-death battle. Do you dare? The so-called life-and-death battle was actually a rule of the martial arts world. Ordinary people didn't know about it, but the Supernatural Investigation Bureau was considered half a martial arts organization. Usually, many people's style was also martial arts. As for the life-and-death battle, it was a life-and-death battle written by one party to the other. As long as one accepted the battle, then one could ignore life and death, but one could also refuse. However, the party who refused could not appear in front of the other party in the future. He had to hide and be a coward for the rest of his life. Oh, okay, said Xiaochen. I know you don't dare. In the future, don't let me see you again, and don't pester Song Huawu. Huh? Pang Fengde was stunned. What did you say just now? Oh, I said that you are deaf, said Xiaochen. F***ck. Pang Fengde suppressed his anger and said, well, since you agreed, then let's have a life-and-death battle at 10 o'clock in the practice room below the hotel. See you there. Oh, I'm not going, said Xiaochen. You dare to fool me? Pang Fengde was about to go berserk. No. Xiaochen wiped his mouth and finally finished eating. Then he said, what I hate the most is what others say. You said 10 o'clock, so it's 10 o'clock. I'm not free. If you want to challenge, do it now. Also, you said it's in the underground practice room, so it's in the underground practice room? I have a phobia of low altitude. I don't like basements. As soon as Xiaochen said this, the people next to him were all very speechless. What Xiaochen said at the beginning was a little reasonable, but the phobia of low altitude was obviously nonsense. They had heard of people who were afraid of heights, but they had never heard of people who were afraid of low altitude. However, Xia Shibin didn't care about this. He jumped out and directly said, yes, why do you say it's at what time? It's at what place? Our team leader's time is precious. Well, then you say the time and where. Is that okay? Pang Fengde wasn't eloquent. He was speechless after being said by Xiaochen. Although he was annoyed, he felt that it was reasonable, so he could only ask patiently. I think it's on the rooftop of the hotel. After I kill you, I can still see the night view. Xiaochen said, it's just right. I'm full. Let's go and digest the food. Okay, if you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. Pang Fengde didn't care about those things with Xiaochen. As long as the goal was achieved, what was the point of letting him be eloquent? Oh, do we have to sign an agreement? When you die, what if someone comes to settle the account with me? Said Xiaochen. That can't be done. There are so many witnesses. Pang Fengde said, as for you, I think you have to write a written agreement. Oh, then let's do it in duplicate. Both sides sign it. Xiaochen said, this is also fair and just. Okay, Little Ma, you draft a life and death agreement. Pang Fengde said to Little Ma. Okay, Brother De. Little Ma nodded and lowered his head to draft the life and death agreement. He was familiar with these things. In the newcomer training group, there were often some trainees who challenged each other. Chapter 6:13. Their principle was not to stop it, but to encourage it. This was because only students who had truly experienced life and death could successfully graduate and be qualified as agents. After all, what they did was some bloody missions. Soon, Xiao Ma wrote 2 life and death contracts and placed them in front of Xiao Chen and Pang Fengde. Okay, sign it. Pang Fengde sneered and looked at Xiao Chen. Oh, I won't sign it, said Xiao Chen. What? Pang Fengde was mad. You sign it first, then I'll sign it. Xiao Chen said calmly, why should I sign it just because you tell me to? Fine. Pang Fengde snorted and ignored Xiao Chen. He was already numb. He signed it and then looked at Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen also signed the life and death contract and said, okay, Xiaofan, help me keep a copy. Let's go up. Hee, but don't worry, when the time comes, if you kneel and beg for mercy, I can consider not beating you to death. Pang Fengde raised his head provocatively at Xiao Chen and said, however, disability is inevitable. Oh, since you are so kind, then I won't kill you, said Xiao Chen. You have a sharp tongue. Pang Fengde curled his lips. What? You won't be willing if I don't kill you? Xiao Chen snorted. Fine, then leave it to fate. Yang Jiannan, if you have the ability, then kill us. If you don't have the ability, then don't brag, okay? Ma Jisheng was on the side and said disdainfully, don't run away in fear later. Xiao Chen shrugged his shoulders indifferently and said, I won't run, but I'm afraid that he will run. I guess once I make a move, he will disappear. Pang Fengde was so angry that he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He wasn't a match for Xiao Chen in terms of words, and he was constantly being mocked by Xiao Chen. He couldn't help but angrily say, what else can you do besides shooting off your mouth? Xiao Chen said with a smile, I'll beat you to death. Okay, the elevator will be here soon. This elevator can go straight to the rooftop. At that time, we will compete on the rooftop. Pang Fengde didn't want to argue with Xiao Chen, so he said this. Oh, it's so slow to take the elevator. Xiao Chen looked at the emergency staircase on the side. Let's take the stairs. When Ma Jisheng heard this, he couldn't help but laugh out loud. I say, Yang Jiannan, you haven't even started fighting and your brain is already failing? Can the stairs be faster than the elevator? What if I say yes? Xiao Chen asked back to provoke him. If there is, I will eat the elevator. Ma Jisheng said disdainfully. Even if you eat the hotel building, it has nothing to do with me. I have no benefits at all. Xiao Chen said. Then what do you want? Ma Jisheng finally found a loophole in what he thought was Xiao Chen's words, so he directly grasped it. Me? How about this? You take the elevator, and I take the stairs. If I'm faster than you, you give me some money. Right, Xiaofan, how much money does this guy have? Xiao Chen squinted and asked sneakily. Him? He usually hangs around behind Pang Fengde. His salary and bonuses are all saved. He doesn't need to spend much. It's estimated that he has 5 million yuan. Xiaofan estimated based on his own situation. Okay, then 5 million yuan. If I lose, I will also give you 5 million yuan. How about it? Xiao Chen laughed. Oh. Ma Jisheng calculated for a moment. The elevator in this hotel was the kind that went straight up. The speed was very fast. Even if someone called for the elevator halfway, it wouldn't take much time. If Xiao Chen climbed to the 40th floor from here, he was afraid that he would be tired. He definitely couldn't win. Moreover, in this way, Xiao Chen's physical strength would be consumed. In the next competition with Pang Fengde, he would definitely not have an advantage. So, why not? Sure enough, Pang Fengde also calculated this point. He said directly to Ma Jisheng, bet with him. If you lose, it's on me. Okay, Yang Jiannan. Since you are willing, try it. After Ma Jisheng finished speaking, he pointed at Xiaofan and said, but in a while, when we get in the elevator, you are not allowed to mess around. You can't press the button on every floor. That is cheating. Seeing that Xiaochen didn't care, Xiaofan said, no problem. Okay, the elevator is here. Let's split up. Xiaochen saw the elevator light up and walked to the stairwell. At the moment when the elevator door opened, he also rushed into the safety stairwell. The few of them entered the elevator and pressed the button for the top floor. To Pang Fengde and Ma Jisheng's surprise, no one seemed to be calling the elevator at this time. Their elevator whizzed all the way to the 10th floor without stopping even once. This time, Yang Jiannan will definitely lose. Ma Jisheng was so happy that his face was blooming. Then, Brother De, the 5 million that you won. It's yours. Pang Fengde waved his hand and said confidently. In front of Song Huawu, he had to be more generous. Song Huawu graduated from the newcomer training group. When he and Song Huawu were in the same batch, he always had a good impression of Song Huawu. Moreover, the most important thing was that Pang Fengde could also see that their old team leader instructor seemed to be related to Song Huawu. He didn't know the specifics, but if he could be related to Song Huawu, he would definitely be successful in the future. Because this relationship was very secretive, others didn't know about it. Even he only found out about it occasionally. Therefore, he deliberately performed well and won the old team leader's appreciation, which was why he was promoted to the current team leader. He didn't know if Yang Jiannan knew about this situation, but he couldn't ask. However, all these years, he was determined to get Song Huawu, but because of this relationship, he didn't dare to use force. Otherwise, wouldn't he, Pang Fengde, get the woman he liked? However, he didn't dare to. Even if he was already an expert at the 4th level of martial arts, he didn't dare to be so rash. The old team leader could still kill him with a slap. The elevator reached the top floor. When the elevator door opened, Pang Fengde, who was the strongest and had the highest status, went down first. He walked out of the elevator proudly, and Ma Jisheng followed closely behind. However, as soon as he walked out of the elevator, Pang Fengde's crotch was kicked. Before the elevator door opened completely, he felt a sharp pain in his lower body. He immediately covered his crotch and squatted on the ground. The pain made his head full of sweat. The people who saw this scene from behind were all stunned. They never thought that Xiaochen would actually be standing outside the elevator at this moment, calm and unruffled. What kind of speed was this? Not only was he faster than the elevator, but he also arrived early and stood at the door waiting to ambush them. This speed was simply unimaginable. Hey, didn't I tell you just now? You guys aren't as fast as me, but you still don't believe me. Hurry up and give me the money. Xiaochen directly walked past Pang Fengde and extended his hand to Ma Jisheng, who was standing next to him in shock. This. Ma Jisheng originally thought that he would win for sure, but how did he lose? His smile was a little frozen. He looked at Pang Fengde, who was groaning in pain on the ground. He didn't want to ask for money, so he suddenly felt a little embarrassed. He was in a dilemma. Xiaofan and Song Huawu looked at each other at this time. The corners of their mouths were raised, and their faces showed a speechless smile at the same time. Xiaochen really won, but they didn't understand how Xiaochen's speed was so fast. It was simply indescribable. What? You don't want to admit it? Xiaochen squinted at Ma Jisheng. Do you want me to give you a kick too? Ma Jisheng looked at Pang Fengde's miserable appearance on the ground, and suddenly his head was full of sweat. If he were to be kicked, wouldn't he die from the pain? His strength was much worse than Pang Fengde's. A kick could probably cripple him. He didn't dare to try it casually. I will give it to you later. I don't have my bank card with me now. Ma Jisheng said. Oh, okay, then I will give you a little more time. That Pang Fengde, do you still want to compete? If you don't, I will take it as you admit defeat. Stay away from me in the future. Xiaochen pointed at Pang Fengde on the ground and shouted. Ma Jisheng was a little speechless. I have seen shameless people, but I have never seen such a shameless person. You have already kicked him like that, and you still want him to compete? Can't you let him rest for a while? Sure enough, Pang Fengde was also trembling with anger. His body's internal strength was surging, and white smoke was coming out of his head. Obviously, he was extremely angry. Oh my God, what's going on? Xiao Chen looked at Pang Fengde and said strangely, why is there smoke? What kind of strange martial art is this? It even has the function of spontaneous combustion? Why? Pang Fengde jumped directly from the ground. Yang Jiannan, I will fight with you. Don't. You put out the fire first. Don't burn it later. If you burn the hotel, I will be implicated. Xiao Chen retreated again and again. If you can't burn the hotel, it's not good to burn the flowers and plants. Humph, are you afraid? Seeing Xiao Chen retreating again and again, Pang Fengde regained his confidence at this moment. He felt that Xiao Chen was afraid of him. Otherwise, why would he retreat? This is just a villain who likes to talk and sneak attack. Thinking of this, Pang Fengde pressed forward step by step. He directly forced Xiao Chen to the edge of the top floor. Seeing that he had nowhere to retreat, he would fall down if he retreated any further. Ha ha ha, Yang Jiannan, are you going to jump off the building? Pang Fengde said with a sneer. Of course not. Xiao Chen instantly changed his direction. How could his speed be compared to that of an ordinary martial artist? He made a big circle and went behind Pang Fengde. Then, 2 compressed wind balls were released from his hands. The compressed wind balls instantly exploded and turned into 2 hurricanes, rushing towards Pang Fengde. Pang Fengde was just approaching Xiao Chen, and he was very close to the edge of the top floor. So, when he saw Xiao Chen run away, he felt 2 huge hurricanes sweeping towards him as soon as he turned his head. He was pushed a few steps back, and he staggered. With a scream, he fell directly from the 48th floor. I helped you to put out the fire. Why did you jump off the building? Xiao Chen shook his head, and his face was inexplicable. This person is really strange. Sure enough, I was right. When I made a move, he disappeared. Chapter 6:14. The wind ball didn't actually cause much damage to the enemy. Xiao Chen rarely used it in battle. It was only recently researched. It could only push people away or roll them up, but it couldn't hurt the enemy. However, when used in this environment, it could achieve miraculous effects. Ma Jisheng was dumbstruck as he looked at Pang Fengde who had fallen from the rooftop. He hurriedly rushed over, wanting to see how Pang Fengde was doing. However, when he ran to the edge, he was afraid that Xiao Chen would hit him again. With Pang Fengde's strength, he probably wouldn't die from falling from such a high building. However, if it was Ma Jisheng, it would be hard to say. This was the 48th floor. Stop the fight. I have already lost the bet. I will give you the money later. You can't do anything to me. Ma Jisheng shouted at Xiao Chen. Oh, okay. Xiao Chen said indifferently, you aren't on fire. I don't have to waste my energy to help you put out the fire. Ma Jisheng hurried to the edge of the rooftop and looked down. He found that Pang Fengde had fallen into the grass below with his arms wide open. His body was deep in the soil, and he didn't know if he was dead or alive. He was so scared that he quickly ran back and wanted to take the elevator downstairs to see the situation. At this time, there was already a commotion downstairs. After all, there weren't only people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau staying here. There were also some ordinary guests. They were scared when they saw someone suddenly jump off the building. Xiao Chen, did you really? Song Huawu couldn't help but be worried. It's okay. He won't die. He is a 4th-level martial artist. How can he die so easily? At most, he will be disabled. Xiao Chen said indifferently, is this person very powerful? AI, he also has a backer in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, and his backer is also someone who has helped me. Song Huawu suddenly felt a little embarrassed. It's the instructor I told you about. He also values Pang Fengde very much. He also hopes that I can be with him. Really? Xiao Chen frowned. He didn't expect there to be such a relationship. He didn't want Song Huawu to be put in a difficult position. He thought that Pang Fengde was just a simple pursuer of Song Huawu, but now it seemed that there was a connection. It's fine. Everyone knows that I'm Xia Zhili's man, and I had conflicts with him in the past. That's true. Song Huawu nodded. Forget it. As long as he doesn't die, he should be fine. Of course, the three of them weren't here to watch the night view. Since there was nothing else, they took the elevator downstairs, but they didn't go to see Pang Fengde. Instead, they returned to the room. Just as Xiao Chen had said, Pang Fengde had not died. It was just that the bones in his 4 limbs were broken. He was a 4th-layer martial master, so how could he have died so easily? Especially when he fell on a soft place like the lawn. Brother De, are you okay? Ma Jisheng quickly helped Pang Fengde up. I'm fine. Although Pang Fengde was covered in dirt and his limbs were in pain, he was the leader of the newcomer training group of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Naturally, he couldn't be weak at this time. Nearby, many people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau had come to watch the show. That's good. Ma Jisheng breathed a sigh of relief. Although Pang Fengde looked disheveled, it was good that he was fine. Help me to the hospital. Pang Fengde whispered in Ma Jisheng's ear. Ma Jisheng's heart tightened, but on the surface, he said loudly, "Okay, let's go for supper." As he said that, he helped Pang Fengde leave. The guests of the hotel saw that the person seemed fine, so they didn't continue to watch and dispersed. Pang Fengde went to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's specialized hospital and applied some special medicine used by martial artists. He only had a bone fracture, but there was no fracture. So, after the special medicine was applied, he only needed to tighten the gauze. There was no need to put on a cast. At this time, a man in a black suit pushed open the door of the ward and quickly walked in. He said loudly, "Old Pang, how is it? Is there anything wrong?" "It's old Wang." The person who came was Wang Chake, a good friend of Pang Fengde in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. He was also the deputy team leader of Team B. It could be said that he was currently on the same level as Xiao Chen. "Don't mention it. I was tricked." "What happened?" "When I just arrived at the hotel, I heard someone say that you jumped off the building. Although everyone said that you looked fine, some people said that you were forcing yourself. I thought about it, so I came to our hospital. When I asked, you were really here," said Wang Chake. "Xiao Ma, tell me." Pang Fengde didn't hide anything from Wang Chake and let Xiao Ma speak directly. Xiao Ma told him everything that had happened, including how he was tricked by Yang Jiannan on the rooftop. This Yang Jiannan has been very active recently. Wang Chake said after listening, "Didn't he just make a contribution and get promoted to the deputy team leader of Team B? How dare he treat you like this?" "Yeah, I'm also very puzzled. However, I heard that he is rushing to take over the position of team leader of Team B. It's understandable that he is arrogant." Pang Fengde frowned and said, "Old Wang, I don't want to criticize you, but haven't you always been fighting for the position of team leader of Team B? Are you willing to give it to someone else?" "Of course I'm not willing, but I heard that Deputy Bureau Chief Xia Zhili will take over Team B after the new year. At that time, Team B will be his. That Yang Jiannan is his man." Speaking of this, Wang Chake was a little annoyed. He was the veteran deputy team leader of Team B. He thought that this time, he would be able to take over the position. However, he didn't expect that someone would come out of nowhere and replace him. "We have to think of something. If we can get Yang Jiannan down, it will be good for both of us." Pang Fengde said. I heard that his relationship with Hua Wu is also very close recently. Old Pang, do you have a good plan? Wang Chake suddenly became interested. Both of them had benefits, so naturally, they wanted to get rid of Yang Jiannan. Not yet, but let's discuss it. As long as he makes some unforgivable mistakes, even if Xia Zhili wants to promote him, it will be impossible. Pang Fengde said, we can make a fool of him or ruin his reputation. In this way, even if Xia Zhili supports us, it will be useless. Your idea is right, but how do we do it? Wang Chake nodded. Tomorrow at the sorority, let's see if we can make a fool of him. If he makes a fool of himself at the sorority and embarrass himself in front of all the higher-ups of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, then Xia Zhili will no longer protect him. Pang Fengde said, but I can't think of any way to make a fool of him. I have a good idea, but I need your backer to send a message. Wang Chake thought about it and said. Oh? What do you say? Pang Fengde asked quickly. Let's first release the news that Yang Jiannan and Song Huawu are in a relationship, and then do this. Wang Chake said, with such a character, even if Xia Zhili supports him, it will be impossible for him to be promoted in the short term. At that time, your backer will say a few words. He will be finished. Good idea. Pang Fengde suddenly slapped his thigh happily after listening. Wonderful. Ouch. He was so excited that he forgot that his bones were broken, so he was in so much pain. Tonight's incident didn't attract too much attention. After all, Pang Fengde, the person involved, didn't say anything. What else could others say? However, everyone was concerned about another rumor. That was, the beauty of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, Song Huawu, was in a relationship. The person in love was actually her boss, Yang Jiannan, who she didn't like in the past. This news was explosive, but most people were just watching the fun. Anyway, this was just a rumor. Whether it was true or false, the person involved didn't explain. Who knew if it was true or false? The next night, the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's sorority officially began. Today, the restaurant didn't accept any guests from outside. It had been booked by the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Xiao Chen, Song Huawu, and Xia Shibin walked into the restaurant together. They greeted some colleagues they knew. In fact, Xiao Chen didn't know them, but under the hints of Song Huawu and Xia Shibin, Xiao Chen behaved very appropriately and didn't reveal any flaws. Deputy Bureau Chief Xia. When Xiao Chen saw Xia Zhili, he naturally walked over quickly and greeted him. Jiannan, you're here. Very good. I heard that you and Huawu are already together. Not bad, congratulations. I still have something to do here. You guys go and play with those colleagues first. Xia Zhili smiled and said to Xiao Chen and the others. He was very satisfied that Xiao Chen came to greet him. This also made him proud, letting everyone know that Xiao Chen was his man, and that he had just completed a mission. Xiao Chen didn't say much. He agreed and walked to the food buffet with Song Huawu and Xia Shibin. He planned to take some food and find a place to sit down. Anyway, he didn't know most of the people, so he might as well find a corner to take a nap. Song Huawu wasn't the kind of person who liked to show off. She also took a fruit platter and sat in the corner with Xiao Chen and Xia Shibin. Yesterday. I don't know what happened to Pang Fengde. It seems that no one mentioned it. Song Huawu was a little strange. Since they came in, they hadn't heard any discussion about Pang Fengde. This is secondary. I saw a lot of people looking at us strangely. Also, Deputy Bureau Chief Xia said that we are dating. Who spread this news? What does that mean? Xiao Chen's sharp senses told him that something was amiss. Who cares? Everyone knows that we went to Lego Town in Europe to carry out a mission together. Recently, we have been together. It's normal for there to be some rumors. Song Huawu didn't take it seriously. I don't even care. Why do you care? Forget it. It's fine. Xiao Chen shook his head. He felt that there must be something wrong with things. It wasn't like this yesterday, but it became like this today. There must be something strange. However, Xiao Chen only thought about it in his heart. He didn't say much to Song Huawu. Maybe he was thinking too much. If he said it, it would only add to Song Huawu's troubles. Chapter 6:15. Let's eat. The food provided here is really good. Xiao Chen looked at the food in front of him and said with appreciation. Song Huawu nodded and said, that's for sure. Everyone is an elite of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. After a busy year, we have to reward everyone at the year-end party. Wasn't there a reward for the 3 armies in the past? Xiao Chen nodded. When he was about to say something, he saw 3 people walking toward him. One of them walked a little awkwardly. His body was a little stiff, like a robot. This person was Pang Fengde, who jumped off the building yesterday. Ma Jisheng was beside him. Xiao Chen didn't know the other person. Brother Yang, the other person is called Wang Chake. He is the deputy leader of Team B. You should remember that you have seen him before. Xia Shibin quickly reminded him. Xiao Chen nodded. It turns out that he is also in Team B like me, but why is he together with Pang Fengde? These 2 people seem to have a good relationship. Is he here to vent his anger for Pang Fengde? But it shouldn't be. If I'm just an ordinary member of Team B, it's reasonable. But I'm the deputy leader with him, so I'm on the same level. How can I vent my anger? While the 2 of them were talking, the 3 people had already come in front of Xiao Chen. Deputy Leader Yang, I'm afraid you are very disappointed to see me like this, right? Pang Fengde came over and said in a strange tone. He only had a slight bone fracture, and he had applied special medicine, so he was fine now. It was just that his posture was a little weird. Yeah, I'm really disappointed, said Xiao Chen. Then he deliberately paused and continued, you are the leader of the newcomer training group. You actually got injured when you fell. It's really disappointing. If it were me, I would definitely stand up immediately. Aren't you too weak? You. Pang Fengde listened to Xiao Chen's first sentence and was quite happy. He understood that Xiao Chen would be disappointed to see that he didn't die, but he didn't expect Xiao Chen to be disappointed with his weakness. Also, according to our agreement, although you didn't die yesterday, you lost. You have to hide when you see me in the future. Now that I'm here to attend the party, you can get lost. Xiao Chen stretched out his hand and pointed to the door. This. Pang Fengde's expression was stagnant. He was thinking about how to punish Xiao Chen. He actually forgot about yesterday's challenge. He couldn't help but look a little ugly. Fortunately, he was also a quick-witted person. He looked at Ma Jisheng and let him decide. The reason why Ma Jisheng could become his follower was because he had some brains. Deputy Team Leader Yang, what you said is wrong. Yesterday, you helped our team leader Pang extinguish the fire and then blew him down the building. Your battle was then suspended. Everyone is fine, which means that no one lost. Naturally, the agreement is invalid. Ma Jisheng rolled his eyes and said, I'm right, right? Hee, I knew you would be shameless. It's fine. I don't care. Xiao Chen shrugged. Alright, are you done with your fart? If you are done, get lost. Don't affect my mood to eat. Yang Jiannan, don't be too arrogant. At this time, Wang Chake spoke. He looked at Xiao Chen and said, you and I are both deputy team leaders of Team B of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, and I'm a veteran deputy team leader. You should be more humble in front of me. Really? I'm so arrogant. What can you do about it? Xiao Chen raised his eyebrows indifferently and said, I'm aiming for Team B's team leader. Don't worry. With your attitude, I'll be the first to hang you up. You. Wang Chake didn't expect Xiao Chen to be so arrogant. He even dared to say such words unscrupulously. What you? Didn't you see that little Meng used to be in Team C? He offended me. I'll let him do some strenuous and unrewarding tasks. How about it? Look at him. Xiao Chen laughed and said loudly. At this time, a young man happened to pass by. It was little Meng. When he heard Xiao Chen's words, he immediately clenched his fists. He was furious. He had heard the recent rumors. Yang Jiannan had been promoted to the deputy team leader of Team B, and the leader of Team C had been decided internally to be Song Huawu. As for whether he could continue as the deputy team leader, it was already a problem. When he messed up the task, he came back to reflect on it. Until now, he had not completed any tasks. Now that he heard Xiao Chen's words, he knew that he had no hope. He could not help but feel disheartened. Of course, part of it was because Yang Jiannan was targeting him. However, little Meng also knew that he did not live up to expectations. Otherwise, why would Yang Jiannan complete the same task, while he failed? He was still incompetent, so he could not blame others for messing with him. Let's wait and see. Wang Chake's face turned green. He was so angry that his whole body was trembling. However, thinking that Xiao Chen would be finished soon, he suppressed his anger and did not explode. Pang Fengde was also unbearably angry. He turned around and left with Wang Chake with the help of Ma Jisheng. You see, I told you not to come and humiliate yourself, but you insisted on coming. Wang Chake was a little depressed. Let's just implement the plan. You had to show him that you were fine, but in the end, you got mocked, didn't you? Old Wang, I didn't expect this to happen either. Pang Fengde was also extremely depressed. Damn, who knew that this kid was so sharp-tongued? Humph, but he won't be jumping around for long. That's true. Two team leaders, calm down. There will be a good show soon. Ma Jisheng chuckled. Little Ma, have you arranged everything? Pang Fengde asked. Don't worry, it's all arranged. Ma Jisheng nodded. The three of them were not in a hurry. They found another corner and sat down. From here, they could see the entire situation on Xiao Chen's side. The fraternity party began very quickly. The higher-ups of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau gave speeches one by one, affirming and encouraging everyone's work over the past year. They also commended the various departments and those who had achieved good results. When Xia Jisheng spoke, he emphasized on praising Xiao Chen. However, what surprised Xiao Chen was that the director of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau did not appear. When the other deputy director Song spoke, Song Huawu's expression was obviously a little excited. Xiao Chen could roughly infer that this deputy director Song should be the person who adopted Song Huawu. This deputy director Song's ranking was even higher than Xia Jisheng's because the higher the ranking, the later they would appear to speak. Deputy Director Song was in charge of all the training work of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, but he also emphasized on praising Pang Fengde. This also confirmed that he was undoubtedly Pang Fengde's backer. After these higher-ups spoke one by one, it was free time for the fraternity party. These higher-ups separated and went around the venue to greet their subordinates. The atmosphere was lively. However, at this moment, a woman in a dress rushed into the hall of the fraternity party. Under everyone's shocked gazes, she rushed towards Xiao Chen's table with large strides. To be honest, Xiao Chen was also extremely stunned. What was this person trying to do? When the woman ran over, she pointed at Xiao Chen and shouted, "Yang Jiannan, you're really good. You don't want me anymore, do you? I'm already pregnant with your child. We agreed to get married next year, but you actually want to marry your colleague in order to curry favor with the rich and powerful, right? I heard that your colleague has a powerful background. Who are you?" Xiao Chen frowned, but he didn't look at the woman. Instead, he shifted his gaze to Pang Fengde. However, the three of them looked like they were watching a show. They couldn't see any problems. "Yang Jiannan, you actually don't recognize me?" The woman was furious. She pointed at Song Huawu with a trembling finger and said, "This is that vixen, right? Let me tell you, I'm Yang Jiannan's girlfriend, and I'm already pregnant. Stop fantasizing." At this time, most of the people in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau had the mentality of watching a good show. However, Deputy Director Song's face was a little dark. He walked over quickly and shouted at Xiao Chen, "Yang Jiannan, what the hell is going on?" Everyone knew that Song Huawu was raised by him, so Deputy Director Song took good care of her. However, only a few people like Yang Jiannan knew about this unknown relationship. Seeing that Deputy Director Song was standing up for him, Xiao Chen was basically certain that today's matter was caused by Pang Fengde and the others. However, Xiao Chen wasn't nervous. He looked at the woman and said unhurriedly, "I said, do you know me?" "Wow, Yang Jiannan, we have been together for 3 years. I can recognize your face even if it turns into ashes." The woman yelled. "Hee hee." Xiao Chen laughed. The people next to him didn't know what was going on, but some people felt that something was wrong. They heard Xiao Chen continue to say, "My face? I don't think I used it for long, right? As far as I know, I only changed my face a few months ago." At that time, it was only reported to the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. In other words, only the people inside the Supernatural Investigation Bureau knew that my face was Yang Jiannan's. "How did you know?" 3 years? I used this face 3 years ago." Everyone listened to Xiao Chen's words and suddenly began to discuss. Deputy Director Song, who was on the side, seemed to feel that something was wrong. However, he didn't think much of Yang Jiannan. He was optimistic about Pang Fengde and hoped that Song Huawu and Pang Fengde would be together. Therefore, he deliberately pretended not to hear it and didn't speak. "You came to me a few days ago. Why don't I know you?" The woman's reaction was fast, and she explained it at once. "Don't be picky with me. When I'm anxious, I slip up, and you treat it as a loophole. You have been like this for the past few months." Chapter 6:16. When the woman spoke, everyone believed it. After all, it was normal for a person to say something wrong in a moment of desperation. They couldn't say that this woman was a fake, so everyone continued to watch the show. Pang Fengde nodded to Ma Jisheng in appreciation and said, "Xiao Ma, this woman you found is not bad. She's really smart." "Huh, that's right. This is a professional model I found. She usually takes on some advertisements and supporting roles in movies. How can she not be professional?" Ma Jisheng laughed. "And, let's continue watching." Wang Chake was very interested. "Alright, stop acting." Xiao Chen saw the woman pestering endlessly, and he was too lazy to reason with her. He directly reprimanded, "If you continue to pester endlessly, do you believe that I will kill you on the spot?" As he spoke, Xiao Chen was about to take something from his waist. Xiao Chen's reaction made everyone suddenly stunned. What does this mean? Does he want to silence me? He actually dared to use a gun in this kind of occasion? Isn't he going to be punished? It was just that at this moment, the woman seemed to be frightened. She suddenly turned around and ran, but the direction she ran in was Xia Zhili, who was walking over here. When Xia Zhili saw that Xiao Chen was about to take out a gun, he was also shocked. "Don't be impulsive. At most, this scandal would make him unable to be the leader of Team B, but there was still the position of deputy leader. If he took out a gun, then the position of deputy leader of Team B would also be ruined. This was not what he wanted to see. However, what Xia Zhili didn't expect was that the woman hugged Xia Zhili and shouted, "Dear, I don't want to do it. You asked me to frame Yang Jiannan, but he wants to kill me. If this hits my stomach, what about our child? However, what Xia Zhili didn't expect was that the woman hugged him and shouted, "Dear, I don't want to do it. You asked me to frame Yang Jiannan, but he wants to kill me. If this hits my stomach, what about our child?" Xia Zhili was stunned, and so were the others. What was going on? Why did this woman say that the child was Xiao Chen's just a moment ago, and now it was Xia Zhili's? What's wrong with this woman? Pang Fengde frowned and looked at Ma Jisheng. However, Ma Jisheng didn't know that and thought that he had done something very praiseworthy. He said proudly, maybe he saw that Xiao Chen wasn't easy to frame, so he changed his mind and framed Xia Zhili. But it's all the same, these two are our targets. Bullsh *T. Pang Fengde was furious when he heard Ma Jisheng's words. He roared, "Hurry up and contact that woman. Tell her not to talk nonsense." Why? Ma Jisheng was a little dazed. Wasn't the effect the same as messing with Xia Zhili? At that time, Xia Zhili's reputation would be ruined, and it wouldn't be good to suggest him to take over the position of Xiao Chen. Just as Pang Fengde was about to explain, it was already too late. He saw Xia Li swing his palm and slap the woman's face, sending her flying. Xia Zhili's rage didn't arouse the disgust of the people present. Instead, everyone didn't speak and remained silent, letting Xia Zhili rage. Even the other deputy directors pretended not to see it at this time. Ma Jisheng was a little puzzled. What does this mean? Why is Xia Zhili hitting a woman crazily, and no one cares? He stood up subconsciously and said righteously, "Deputy Director Xia, isn't it wrong for you to do this? No matter what, you can't hit a woman, right?" Pang Fengde was shocked. He wanted to pull Ma Jisheng back. At this time, no one stood up. Naturally, there was a reason not to stand up. Aren't you going to be hated by others if you stand up and pretend to be righteous? Sure enough, Pang Fengde's reaction was a step too slow. Xia Zhili rushed over in a frenzy and gave Ma Zhili a flying kick, sending him flying into the air and crashing into the wall with a "Quang Dang" before falling to the ground and lying on the ground. Obviously, he was already injured as he spat out a few mouthfuls of blood. This horrifying scene made Xiao Chen a little dumbfounded. He didn't know what was going on. He just controlled the woman's thoughts for a while. He just wanted to make a joke. He didn't expect there to be so many chain reactions. However, why was Xia Zhili so angry that he continuously hurt people? But why didn't anyone stop him? What's going on? Xiao Chen turned his head and looked at Song Huawu. This. Song Huawu found it a little difficult to say it out loud. However, when she thought that she was talking to Xiao Chen, she did not mind it. She leaned close to Xiao Chen's ear and whispered, "When Deputy Bureau Chief Xia was young, he was severely injured in the lower part of his body during a mission. He was incapacitated, so everyone avoided this matter. No one dared to mention it in front of him." Oh. When Xiao Chen heard it, he immediately understood. No wonder. This woman said that she was Xia Zhili's lover, and she was pregnant. Wasn't this poking at Xia Zhili's sore spot? Who among the higher-ups present didn't know about this? Probably only ordinary staff like Ma Jisheng didn't know, right? Therefore, when Xia Zhili exploded, no one dared to stop him. After all, he was injured during a mission when he was young. Even if they were enemies, they wouldn't use this as an excuse. However, Xiao Chen now understood why Xia Zhili was so passionate about power. It turned out that he had a physical defect. Weren't those eunuchs in ancient times also strangely passionate about power? Xiao Chen thought about it and once again controlled the mind of the woman on the ground who was at a loss. He made her run in the direction of Pang Fengde and yelled as she ran, "I quit. Give me the money. I don't want to act anymore. How can I beat people up? You didn't say anything in advance." "No, I have to pay more." "You Don't slander me. Pang Fengda's face turned green at this moment. Is this woman crazy? How can she tell the truth here? That little Ma you ordered, he was the one who contacted me. I recorded it all. The woman continued to shout. Take her out. Take this crazy woman out. Pang Fengda was mad and yelled. Although Deputy Director Song was very disappointed with Pang Fengda, he couldn't ignore him. If he let Pang Fengda make a fool of himself, he would lose his face. Therefore, he could only give a hint to the two men next to him. The two men quickly carried the woman and left the restaurant. On the other hand, Xia Zhili was still in a frenzy. After kicking Ma Jisheng, when he heard that the mastermind was Pang Fengda, he immediately regained his senses and gave Pang Fengda a roundhouse kick. At that moment, his strength as a level 10 martial master was fully displayed. Level 10 martial master? Xiao Chen was a little shocked. He originally thought that Xia Zhili was at most a level 3 or 4 martial master. However, after seeing Pang Fengda's strength, he was a little shaken. However, after seeing Pang Fengda's strength today, he realized that he had always underestimated Xia Zhili. This guy actually had such a high level of strength. Xiao Chen's previous idea was too simple. Killing Xia Zhili was basically impossible now, at least not in the short term. No matter how strong he was, he wouldn't be a match for Xia Zhili. Pang Fengda had been injured because of a bone fracture yesterday. After being kicked like this, he would probably be lying in the hospital. Deputy Director Song took a deep breath, but he didn't step forward to stop them. Moreover, Xia Zhili had become a eunuch because of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's mission. It was fine to fight openly and covertly, but it was too despicable to make an issue out of this. No matter what, everyone was working for the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. If you use this to make an issue out of it, they would already be very lenient if they didn't beat you to death. Even if the director of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau knew about this, he probably wouldn't say much. Xia Zhili had worked hard to complete the mission and became a eunuch. How dare you use this to mock him? After the woman was carried out, Deputy Director Song waved his hand. Two more men came and carried Pang Fengda and Ma Zhili out. However, he couldn't say a word for them. However, in his heart, he already hated Xia Zhili and Yang Jiannan. Looking at Song Huawu and Yang Jiannan sitting together, Deputy Director Song was very angry, but he forgot that today's incident was Pang Fengda's own fault. The farce was over, and Xia Zhili's emotions also calmed down. He cupped his hands and said to everyone, "I'm sorry. I lost control of my emotions. I will go back to rest first." Everyone, continue. However, after such a mess, who was in the mood to stay here? A good fellowship party was ruined. Xiao Chen and Song Huawu naturally didn't have the mood to stay any longer. They went upstairs early. "Huawu, you stay." Deputy Director Song stopped Song Huawu, who was about to leave. "Ah, Instructor Song, you were looking for me?" Song Huawu quickly stopped. She was a little guilty. She knew that Instructor Song's heart was actually biased towards Pang Fengda, but she was with Xiao Chen. She couldn't say that the current Yang Jiannan wasn't the previous Yang Jiannan. Come here. I want to talk to you about something." After Deputy Director Song finished speaking, he turned and walked to an empty seat not far away. "Then I will go up first." Xiao Chen didn't want to put Song Huawu in a difficult position, so he said to her. Song Huawu nodded and then quickly followed Instructor Song. Sitting in front of a dining table, Deputy Director Song said, "Huawu, between you and Yang Jiannan?" Although he didn't finish his words, he believed that Song Huawu could understand. Sure enough, Song Huawu's face turned red, and she was a little nervous. He and I are developing, Huawu, Yang Jiannan's character isn't good. Instructor Song said with a serious face, "I know that you didn't like him before, so I didn't care about you being in the same group as him, but I didn't expect you to really agree to him. Why? You know, I have always been optimistic about Pangfengde. I want to train him to be my successor. Chapter 6:17. Instructor, I know, but Yang Jiannan is really different from before. He has matured now and can focus on doing things. Didn't this mission explain everything? Song Huawu could only explain it this way. One success is nothing. The main thing is that his character is not good. I have long heard about him and Xia Zhili stuffing their own pockets. This person's heart is not righteous. If you follow him, you will suffer in the future. Instructor Song said. But, isn't Pangfengde's character the same? What did he do today? He found a woman to falsely accuse Yang Jiannan. Does that mean he is righteous? Song Huawu retorted with some dissatisfaction, if he does this, he will ruin the entire sorority. What should we do? You dare to talk back to me? Instructor Song was a little annoyed. Wasn't he forced? If you weren't close to Yang Jiannan, would he have made such a stupid move? Have you ever seen him like this before? Song Huawu lowered her head, feeling wronged. If you recognize me as your instructor, go and make it clear to Yang Jiannan. Don't be with him. Instructor Song said, of course, if you don't respect me as your instructor, you can go and join Xia Zhili. Song Huawu was in a dilemma. Alright, think about it yourself. I'll leave first. Instructor Song stood up and strode away. Song Huawu looked at his back and sighed. On the one hand, she didn't want to be separated from Xiao Chen. On the other hand, she didn't want to go against Instructor Song's wishes. What should she do? One was the benefactor who had raised her, and the other was the person who had saved her life. She was grateful and had a good impression of him. How should she choose? How should she choose? Since Instructor Song had already said this, Song Huawu knew that her ambiguous attitude wouldn't work. However, she couldn't leave Xiao Chen. Not to mention anything else, her leg belonged to Xiao Chen. Moreover, for her, Xiao Chen had raised the Claryman family to the ground. Song Huawu didn't say this, but she remembered it in her heart. Song Huawu sighed and left the dining room in a daze. She returned to her room. Xiao Chen was also a little surprised that Song Huawu didn't contact him when she came back. However, he thought that Deputy Bureau Chief Song must have said something to her. Xiao Chen didn't want Song Huawu to be in a difficult position, so he didn't take the initiative to look for her. Therefore, Xiao Chen cultivated in his room. It was just a pity that he hadn't eaten his fill tonight, and it was ruined by an unexpected incident. At about 12 o'clock in the evening, Song Huawu called. Huawu? Xiao Chen answered the call. Xiao Chen. I'm in a bad mood. Do you want to go out for a drink or two with me? Song Huawu's voice was a little gloomy. Sure. Xiao Chen just wanted to go out to eat something, so he readily agreed. He also wanted to ask what happened to Song Huawu. See you at the elevator. After Song Huawu finished speaking, she hung up the phone. Xiao Chen simply cleaned up and went out of the room. He went to the elevator and waited for Song Huawu. However, Song Huawu was a girl after all. Xiao Chen waited for more than 10 minutes before she came over. Her eyes were red, and it was obvious that she had just cried. Song Huawu rolled her eyes at Xiao Chen and said, I'm sorry. I took a cold shower. A cold shower on a cold day? Xiao Chen was stunned. It's nothing. Song Huawu obviously didn't want to say much. The elevator came, and the two of them walked in silently. Xiao Chen also found that Song Huawu's mood wasn't right. If it was a normal day, she would definitely be chattering with him. But today, she was very quiet. It was obviously because of Deputy Bureau Chief Song's matter. When the elevator reached the first floor, the two of them tacitly walked out of the hotel. They didn't choose the restaurant in the hotel. After all, there were people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau nearby. It wasn't good to let them see them. It wasn't that they were afraid to tell Deputy Bureau Chief Song. They obviously couldn't hide from Deputy Bureau Chief Song's eyes and ears when they came out, but Song Huawu didn't want others to see her emotions at the moment. The two of them didn't go far. There was a street near the hotel that was full of food stalls. The two of them found one, sat down, and ordered some lamb skewers and beer. When the beer was served, the lamb skewers weren't roasted yet. Song Huawu picked up the beer and gulped down a bottle. Xiao Chen was really shocked. Huawu, what are you doing? Song Huawu didn't care about Xiao Chen. After one bottle, she picked up another bottle. Xiao Chen had never seen Song Huawu drink before, but he didn't expect her to have such a high alcohol tolerance. Song Huawu's expression didn't change even after 2 bottles. In fact, what Xiao Chen didn't know was that drinking was also a skill of special agents. Some special missions needed to deal with people from all walks of life. At the drinking table, many things could be completed without batting an eyelid. Song Huawu was usually just unwilling to drink. At this time, the lamb skewers were served. It scared the waiter who was serving them. What kind of volume is this? Huawu, if you have something to say, just say it. You don't have to drink like this, right? Xiao Chen saw that Song Huawu was about to pick up the 3rd bottle and quickly stopped her. Don't worry about me. Song Huawu suddenly rolled her eyes and said, who do you think you are? You're not anyone to me. Why do you care so much? Go eat your skewers. Xiao Chen looked at Song Huawu's emotional words and was a little puzzled. What did Deputy Bureau Chief Song say to you? Nothing, Xiao Chen. Today, let's treat it as our farewell meal. Song Huawu had already made a decision. In any case, she couldn't disobey the words of Instructor Song, who had raised her. From tomorrow onwards, we won't do missions together anymore, and we won't live together anymore. You can live by yourself in the house in Songning City. Oh. When Xiao Chen heard Song Huawu's words, he suddenly felt a little disappointed. He didn't know why. Perhaps it was because he was used to Song Huawu being by his side. When she suddenly wanted to separate from him, Xiao Chen couldn't accept it. However, Xiao Chen also understood. He even guessed the situation. Deputy Bureau Chief Song had a problem with him, and he was the one who raised Song Huawu. It would be strange if Deputy Bureau Chief Song would let Song Huawu interact with him. However, in order to comfort Song Huawu, Xiao Chen smiled and said, if there's wine today, let's get drunk. If there's trouble tomorrow, let's worry about it tomorrow. Don't worry so much. Let's eat first. As he spoke, Xiao Chen grabbed a handful of lamb skewers and stuffed them directly into his mouth. Then, he opened a bottle of beer and accompanied Song Huawu to drink. Now, he also understood Song Huawu's feelings. Song Huawu must have been in a difficult situation. He didn't know how much determination she had to make this choice. It could be seen from her red and swollen eyes. She wasn't an ungrateful person, but sometimes, she couldn't help it. Not far away, there was another table of guests eating. There was a person with a bandage on his head, a person with a cane, and the last one was fine. However, the 3 of them eating in such a condition was indescribably strange. They were Pang Fengde, Ma Jisheng, and Wang Chaik, who had just returned from the hospital. Isn't that Yang Jiannan and Song Huawu? Ma Jisheng's eyes were sharp. He saw Xiao Chen and Song Huawu not far away at a glance. Oh. It really is them. Why did they come here to eat at the food stall? They seem to be having a good time. Wang Chaik was a little puzzled. He didn't know that Deputy Bureau Chief Song went to look for Song Huawu, so he thought they were drinking to celebrate. Damn, I'm so angry. I get angry when I see this kid. Pang Fengde was so angry that he was trembling. Ma Jisheng, where did you find such an ignorant woman? Professional acting? I'm dead. Don't mention it, brother De. Look at me, I'm also covered in bandages. Ma Jisheng was also a little helpless. Who wants this to happen? Pang Fengde nodded. Ma Jisheng's appearance also made him feel better. Ma Jisheng was right. Who didn't want to do this well? Ma Jisheng was also unlucky, but it wasn't intentional. Seeing that Yang Jiannan, that kid, is so cool, I really don't want to give up. Can I mess with him a little? Pang Fengde's evil intentions began to come out again. Let me think. Wang Chake narrowed his eyes and began to think of some dirty tricks. His hatred for Xiao Chen was no less than Pang Fengde and Ma Jisheng. This guy was obviously here to take over the position of Team B's team leader. Didn't he endure for so many years for the position of team leader? Now that he was suddenly contradicted by Xiao Chen, it would be strange if he could be happy. So, if there was a chance to mess with Xiao Chen, he would never be lenient. The trick just now failed, but the relationship between this Yang Jiannan and Song Huawu doesn't seem to be affected at all. The one just now was too fake. Pang Fengde waved his hand. It would be strange if Song Huawu believed it. Fake. I have a trick. Wang Chake's eyes turned, and he thought of another idea. What trick? Pang Fengde suddenly became interested. This time, we have to do it ruthlessly, so that Yang Jiannan can't make a comeback. The mistress and the like can only be suppressed temporarily, but if he breaks the law and commits a crime, he will never be able to make a comeback. He might even be kicked out of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau. Wang Chake smiled, and a trace of coldness flashed across his mouth. He was a person who liked to play dirty. He didn't kill Xiao Chen previously because he had overestimated the young model's acting skills. However, this time, he failed to teach Xiao Chen a lesson, and it also aroused the ruthlessness and dissatisfaction in his heart. He didn't want to use these little tricks anymore. He was ready to give Xiao Chen a fatal blow, and permanently get rid of this future trouble. In for a penny, in for a pound. Breaking the law and committing a crime? What do you mean? How can we let him commit a crime? Pang Fengde didn't understand, and looked at Wang Chake inexplicably. He is originally from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau, a law enforcement officer. It's difficult for you to let him commit a crime. That's true. Wang Chake smiled. He had already found a way to ruin Xiao Chen's reputation. Mistress and mistress are all voluntary. It's boring. What do you think the result will be if Yang Jiannan raped a civilian girl? Chapter 618. Oh. Pang Fengde, who was on the side, was not a fool. He understood it immediately and smiled. This is a good idea. You mean to let him be drunk, right? Yes, look at him drinking so much now. He will definitely be drunk in a while. Let's catch a woman first, knock her out, and put her in his room. Then, when he goes back drunk and finds a woman on the bed, he might think that it is Song Huawu, and then, hee. Wang Chake sneered. What do you think will happen? If it were me, I would be involuntarily. We are all men. We understand. Pang Fengde also laughed. Ma Jisheng also slapped his thigh. In order to prevent Yang Jiannan from settling this privately, let's blow this matter up tomorrow morning. We will bring the people of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau to arrest him directly. Right, isn't the deputy team leader of the monitoring group trained by team leader Wang? Let's look for him. Team leader Lu is a bit upright. I'm afraid it's not good to let him participate. Wang Chake shook his head. We don't need to let him participate at all. We will just tell the truth. When the time comes, the facts will be in front of us. Yang Jiannan will not be allowed to quibble. At that time, team leader Lu only needs to deal with it impartially. Ma Jisheng said. This is not a problem. Wang Chake nodded after listening and said, if that's the case, let's go and arrest them now. Otherwise, when Yang Jiannan and Song Huawu finish drinking and go back, it won't be easy for us to make a move. Let's go. The three of them stopped eating and immediately found the boss to pay the bill. Then, they got into a business car and sped away. Song Huawu drank one glass after another. Xiaofan looked at her situation and felt that it was a bit creepy, but he still accompanied her to the end. After all, Song Huawu was upset, and Xiaofan was also a little upset. But no matter what decision Song Huawu made, Xiaofan supported her. If it was Xiaofan, if the elder heaven ancestor, who had helped him a lot, asked him to do something, he probably would not refuse. This was the same logic. Therefore, Xiaofan did not ask why, nor did he deliberately ask her to stay. He raised the bottle and said straightforwardly, Huawu, we will still be good friends in the future. If there is anything, you can find me. Come, let me toast first. Yes, but I can't keep in touch with you anymore. Song Huawu was also a little tipsy. She also picked up a bottle of beer and downed it. Cheers. Xiaofan's alcohol tolerance wasn't as good as Song Huawu's. Although he was a cultivator, he was still a little drunk. Seeing that Song Huawu's vision was a little blurry, he couldn't help but say, it's nothing. Sometimes, friends don't need to be together all the time. You're right. Come on, let's drink another bottle. Song Huawu raised another bottle of beer. The two of them went back and forth like this. God knows how many bottles they drank and how many mutton skewers they ate. Anyway, when it came time to settle the bill, it was the boss who said how much it was. Xiaofan didn't care. He just casually threw 1,000 yuan on the table. It was enough. The two of them supported each other and walked back in a daze. Song Huawu said as she walked, Xiaofan, although we can't play together anymore, my life is yours. You can play secretly too. Xiaofan said in a daze. The waiter looked at the two of them inexplicably. What is the relationship between this man and woman? They can actually drink so much? However, this had nothing to do with him. He happily grabbed the 1,000 yuan on the table and gave it to the boss. Boss, they gave 1,000 yuan. F***ck, beer is 10 yuan a bottle, and they drank 50 bottles. Mutton skewers are 3 yuan a skewer, and they ate 200 skewers. They still lost 100 yuan. The boss couldn't help but scold, are you stupid? The waiter was stunned. He didn't calculate it. At this moment, he calculated it carefully. They did lose 100 yuan, at the entrance of the hotel, in a business car. Little Ma, how's it going? Is there any problem? Pang Fengde touched his broken right leg, and his eyes flashed fiercely. Don't worry, brother De. I have already asked someone to do it. The person has been caught, drugged, and placed on the bed in Yang Jiannan's room. Ma Jisheng said with a smile. Is it done by one of our own people? Pang Fengde was a little worried. Don't worry. It's our newcomer training group. They are all my people. Wang Chake said on the side, but little Ma, you are the one who caught the person. Did you see it clearly? Don't let the woman come back and treat it as a one-night stand. If so, we can't frame Yang Jiannan at all. Hee, what kind of person am I, Ma Jisheng? I have fiery eyes. Whether that chick is an innocent little virgin, I can see it at a glance. Ma Jisheng patted his chest and promised, there will be no problem this time. It's definitely a girl from a decent family. That's good. Wang Chake nodded and said, but have you figured out her identity? Her family conditions aren't bad. She should be a rich lady. Her car is an Audi TT. Ma Jisheng said, although it's not a top sports car, her family is definitely not short of money. If Yang Jiannan wants to settle it privately, it's impossible. That's good. As long as this girl's family doesn't let Yang Jiannan go, Yang Jiannan is finished. Being expelled from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau is a light punishment. Maybe he will be sent directly to prison. He. After Pang Fengde listened, he smiled with satisfaction. That's right. I messed it up before. This time, I must be careful. As Ma Jisheng said this, he took out his mobile phone, opened the photo album, and handed it to Pang Fengde. Look, it's this girl. This is her car. Oh. Let me see. Is it her? Pang Fengde took the phone and pointed to the photo on the phone. TSK, she looks quite beautiful. Yang Jiannan got lucky. Wang Chaik also nodded. It's really the best. It's a pity. Why don't we find a place to enjoy ourselves? Ma Jisheng saw that both of them were interested, so he said quickly. Enjoy my ass. Let's get down to business. Pang Fengde returned the phone to Ma Jisheng and said, let's go. Xiao Chen and Song Huawu got into the elevator in a daze and then returned to his room. He only felt dizzy. He drank too much alcohol today. Opening the door, Xiao Chen didn't even turn on the light. He took off his clothes, went to bed in a daze, and fell asleep. He really didn't have the extra strength to do anything else. In a vague trance, Xiao Chen seemed to feel that something was wrong. There seemed to be another person beside him. However, Xiao Chen drank too much, and his mind wasn't very clear. In a daze, he subconsciously thought that he was still in Song Huawu's room in Songning City, and the person beside him was Song Huawu. Therefore, he didn't think much and fell asleep. Dong dong dong. Xiao Chen was awakened by a violent knocking on the door. His head was still a little painful. He drank too much yesterday, and he hadn't sobered up yet. Who is this? Knocking on the door so early in the morning. Is there a problem? Xiao Chen cursed in his heart and opened his eyes with some difficulty. However, the first thing that came into view was the face of a sleeping woman. Who is this? Xiao Chen was suddenly stunned. Why is there another person in my room? Did I drink too much last night and go to the wrong room? However, if I went to the wrong room, how did the room card open the door? Yes, he remembered that there seemed to be a person who fell asleep next to him last night. He thought it was Song Huawu, but he didn't expect it to be otherwise. However, just as Xiao Chen was wondering, the knocking on the door became more violent, as if someone wanted to break in. Is there a problem? Are you sure no one came out last night? Not far away, the door of a room was ajar. 3 men were looking at the situation from a distance through the crack of the door. The man who asked was Pang Fengde. Don't worry. No one came out. Ma Jisheng yawned. Last night, he was the one who guarded here all night to see if anyone came out of Xiao Chen's room. And, that's good. Let's see how Yang Jiannan dies this time. Pang Fengde smiled. Wang Chaik, who was at the side, also looked like he was watching a good show. The people from the Supernatural Investigation Bureau had already arrived, and the one leading them was Leader Lu. Leader Lu abhorred evil, and would definitely not tolerate Xiao Chen's tyrannical behavior. The person inside, open the door. If you don't open the door, we will force our way in. Team Leader Lu knocked for a long time, but no one opened the door. He was a little annoyed. Knock your mom. Your mom is dead. Are you ringing the funeral bell? Xiao Chen opened the door. There was a "Do Not Disturb" sign on the door of his room. Who was so blind as to knock on the door crazily? Humph. Team Leader Lu snorted coldly. With a wave of his hand, he got a few people behind him to restrain Xiao Chen. Then, he strode into the room and saw the woman sleeping soundly on the bed. He frowned and said to a female subordinate, "Go and examine her." Yes. The female subordinate rushed in quickly and did a simple check on the girl on the bed. Then she said, reporting to Team Leader Lu, she was indeed drugged. She is still unconscious. Hearing the female underling's report, team leader Lu snorted coldly. He waved his hand and said, "Take Yang Jiannan away from me. Little Wu, wait for the victim to wake up and take her to make a statement." "Yes." Little Wu and the men who were holding Xiaofan responded at the same time. "Who are you? What do you mean?" Xiaofan was still a little confused. He had not woken up from this series of shocks. "I was sleeping well, and team leader Lu rushed in to take me away." "Is there something wrong with him? Be honest." "I am Lu Zhanlong, the deputy team leader of the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's monitoring team. You are suspected of being drugged. Now go back with me for investigation." Team leader Lu said resolutely. "What? Drugged? Who am I drugged?" Xiaofan was a little stunned. Chapter 619. Who? Isn't the thing on your bed the evidence? Team leader Lu shouted, "You still dare to deny it? What nonsense are you talking about?" Xiaofan was a little annoyed. "Get lost. How would I know when she came? Are you crazy? Can you use your brain when doing things? Am I crazy? Can I do this kind of thing in the fellowship party?" Although Xiaofan was annoyed, he also felt that something was wrong. He went back to his room in a daze yesterday and fell asleep. When did this woman come? Coincidentally, she came. The next morning, this team leader Lu came to arrest him. Who told him this? Who tipped him off? However, yesterday, he went to drink with Song Huawu. It was an impromptu decision. Xiaofan didn't believe that Song Huawu framed him. In his opinion, only Pang Fengde, Ma Jisheng, and Wang Chaike could do this kind of thing. "Did Pang Fengde ask you to come?" Xiaofan asked after he figured it out. "Be honest. Don't talk nonsense." Team leader Lu simply ignored Xiaofan. He waved his hand and said to his men, "Take him away. If he dares to resist, kill him directly." "Yes." The few men responded, then they pushed Xiaofan and said, "Hurry up and go. Don't look." Xiaofan frowned. With the strength of these people in front of him, it was easy to kill them. But if he really killed them, then he couldn't stay in the Supernatural Investigation Bureau anymore. He had to run away again, and his identity as Yang Jiannan would be abolished. Therefore, Xiaofan had no choice but to go with them first and figure out what was going on. Xiaofan was taken to a dark basement of the hotel. This room had no windows. It was originally built as a storage place for the hotel's computer room, transformer room, and other facilities, but it was not used at the moment. It was empty, and Lu Zhanlong used it as a temporary interrogation room. After entering the basement, Xiaofan was arranged to sit on a broken wooden chair, while the other people who escorted him blocked the door like tigers watching their prey. They were afraid that Xiaofan would run away, and some of them even took out their guns. After a while, Lu Zhanlong came. Behind him stood a stunned girl with disheveled hair and the female subordinate. These people passed by the door of the basement room, but they didn't come in. Instead, they went to another basement. At the moment when the girl passed by Xiaofan's room, Xiaofan only felt that the girl looked familiar, but he forgot where he had seen her. He didn't have such a feeling before, but now he couldn't see clearly because of her hair. But after passing by, Xiaofan suddenly remembered something, but because he had just woken up, he couldn't remember anything. Obviously, Lu Zhanlong didn't only want to interrogate Xiaofan first, but he wanted to ask the girl first. He wanted to find a breakthrough from the girl. The girl rubbed her head in a daze and was helped to a dark basement. She suddenly woke up and shouted, "Help! There are bad guys. Help me." Lu Zhanlong was a little speechless. Why was he regarded as a bad guy? The female subordinate next to him quickly pulled the girl and said, "Don't shout. We are not bad guys. We are the good guys who saved you. This is my ID. You can take a look. The girl was stunned. She looked at the ID handed over by the female subordinate, but she was a little puzzled. She said, "What ID is this? Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Is this a civilian exploration organization? Of course not. We are a relatively mysterious department. You can think of it as a special agent. In addition, I also have a military identity. This is my other ID." The female subordinate gave her other ID to the girl. The girl took a look and was a little surprised. "Are you making fake ID? Why are there two IDs? What else do you have?" The female subordinate suddenly had black lines on her head. She said, "You were kidnapped, and then you were drugged. Don't you know? Why are you still asking this and that? We just rescued you." "Ah, yes, I just parked the car yesterday and got off. I saw someone coming from behind me in the rearview mirror and covered my mouth with something. I don't know anything. Then I found myself lying in bed this morning and was woken up by you." The girl recalled. "So, I seem to have been kidnapped." Lu Zhanlong nodded and then said to the female subordinate, "Okay, write it down. But I don't seem to have any injuries on my body. I didn't get drugged. My lower body doesn't hurt at all." The girl was a little puzzled. "Are you mistaken? N?" Lu Zhanlong was stunned by the girl's tough words. He suddenly had black lines on his head. "If it wasn't your first time, of course, it wouldn't hurt." "Nonsense, I didn't before." The girl said angrily, "You must be the liars. Let me go. What I said just now was a lie. Goodbye." As she spoke, the girl was about to get up and rush out. She was quickly pulled back by the female subordinate. "Miss, calm down. Are you drugged? You can go to the hospital for a checkup later. You are a miss. Your whole family is a miss. I won't go for a checkup." The girl was even more furious. "Let me go. I'm from the Wang family. If you catch me, my father won't let you go." "Wang family?" Lu Zhanlong's face suddenly changed. Could this person be the young miss of the Wang family? This time, Yang Jiannan was in big trouble. Even the Supernatural Investigation Bureau would be implicated. "We'll take you to identify someone. See if he kidnapped you yesterday and, then hurry up." The girl saw that she couldn't leave, so she could only nod helplessly. However, her mouth was indeed pouting in anger. At this time, there was a noise outside. Then, it was the sound of two people arguing. Listening carefully, it was actually Xia Zhili and Deputy Bureau Chief Song. Both of them were Deputy Bureau Chiefs, but they were arguing here. "Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, why do you think that Yang Jiannan was framed? You came here to command the release of people. This is overstepping your authority. You are not in charge of the supervisory group." Deputy Bureau Chief Song said angrily. He also received the news that Yang Jiannan's drugged girl was arrested early in the morning. He was immediately very happy. In this way, he didn't need to say anything to Song Huawu. It was impossible for Song Huawu to be with Yang Jiannan. He immediately thought that Xia Zhili might obstruct the investigation, so he rushed over immediately. As expected, he saw that Xia Zhili was also there. In the interrogation room, he sternly ordered the supervisory group subordinates to let go. "Song Bilian, that has nothing to do with you. You are in charge of the newcomer training group." Xia Zhili said, "Yang Jiannan is my subordinate. How can I not care? I believe him, and I also have reason to suspect that someone is framing him. Yesterday, Yang Jiannan was just framed, and a similar thing happened at night. I suspect that this was done by Pang Fengde. I also request that Pang Fengde be taken away for investigation. This is his revenge. You." Song Bilian was furious and glared at Xia Zhili. Xia Zhili had to protect Yang Jiannan. In the past, Yang Jiannan only had some relationship with him, so he didn't pay much attention to him. After all, it would be the same no matter who it was. However, it was different now. Yang Jiannan was very capable. He heard that he single-handedly destroyed the Claryman family in Lego Town. How glorious was that? It really promoted the power of the great Xia agents in front of outsiders. Xia Zhili also took advantage of that and was promoted step by step. Because he had become a eunuch, he didn't have any other pursuits. He desperately plundered for the sake of cultivation or for the sake of promotion. He really wasn't interested in anything else. Now that Yang Jiannan was so powerful, if he made some more contributions, it wouldn't be a problem for him to fight for the position of deputy bureau chief. Therefore, he had to desperately protect Yang Jiannan. Originally, he and deputy bureau chief Song didn't have any big conflicts, but this time, they directly fell out. What about you? What I said makes sense, right? Xia Zhili sneered and said, all right, if you have the guts, find that girl and confront her. I don't believe that this matter was caused by Yang Jiannan. As the two of them were arguing, Song Huawu and Xia Shibin also came. They stood not far away and were a little shocked, especially Song Huawu. She was very puzzled. How did Xiao Chen get involved in such a matter? She didn't think that Xiao Chen would go after a girl. It would be fine if there were no beauties at home. She, Song Huawu, had slept beside Xiao Chen for so long and nothing had happened. Would Xiao Chen have the time to go after a girl? Moreover, the most important thing was that they had come back from drinking yesterday and were all in a daze. How could they have the strength and energy to do this? Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, I hope that you won't interfere with the investigation of our supervisory group. If you want to confront her, that's fine. I'm going to bring that girl to identify her. Lu Zhanlong walked out at this time. He also heard the argument between Xia Zhili and Deputy Bureau Chief Song, so he spoke up. Humph. Xia Zhili snorted coldly. Song Bilian frowned. Although he also felt that this matter was strange, and he was afraid that it was related to Pang Fengde, he naturally couldn't not take advantage of this good opportunity to get rid of Yang Jiannan. Go and take a look. Did this person kidnap you? Lu Zhanlong said, since you saw it from the rearview mirror of the car, you should be able to roughly recognize that person, right? Oh. The girl nodded reluctantly. Xia Zhili's face was gloomy. He looked at the girl and shouted, don't talk nonsense, or you will be responsible. Deputy Bureau Chief Xia, please don't talk nonsense. This is the eldest daughter of the Wang family. You should know what kind of existence the Wang family is. It is a branch of the Wang family. Are you threatening the Wang family to cause trouble for our Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Lu Zhanlong warned coldly. Chapter 620. N. Tianfang Wang family? Xia Zhili's face suddenly changed. Although the Tianfang Wang family was also one of the real martial families, and the Supernatural Investigation Bureau wasn't afraid of them, they weren't an ordinary real martial family. This was a branch of the Wulin family, so it was different. Although the Supernatural Investigation Bureau's headquarters were also in Tianfang province, they didn't interfere with the Wang family. Sometimes, they even helped each other. However, why didn't the Wang family's Missy know about the Supernatural Investigation Bureau? Seeing Xia Zhili being defeated, Song Bilian was very refreshed. He sneered, some people, the more they jump around, the faster they die. Take a look. Do you know him? Lu Zhanlong brought the girl to the door of the basement room where Xiao Chen was. He pointed at Xiao Chen and asked, look carefully. Ah, I know him. The girl looked carefully and was immediately overjoyed. Humph, how is it? Lu Zhanlong's heart relaxed, then he sneered, okay, lock Yang Jiannan up, and then take this girl to the hospital for a checkup. Investigate her identity, make a detailed statement, communicate with her family, and then hand Yang Jiannan over to the local judicial department. Brother Xiao, why are you here? Were you also caught by these bad guys? Lan Xinxin saw Xiao Chen and was very happy. She rushed to Xiao Chen's side. The Supernatural Investigation Bureau's men didn't expect the girl to dare to rush inside. After all, they were people who liked her. It was good that she wasn't afraid, so they didn't put up any defenses. Lan Xinxin? Xiao Chen finally remembered who this girl was. It was actually the 36B Lan Xinxin on the plane. No wonder she looked familiar. It was just that her hair was disheveled, and it was just a flash, so he didn't see it clearly. Brother Xiao, are you okay there? Can you still use it? I've been worried about you these days. Let me help you check it. These days, Lan Xinxin had been thinking about Xiao Chen's matter. She wasn't a scheming person. Once she had something on her mind, she would always be depressed and unable to let it go. She was afraid that if she was not careful, she would harm Xiao Chen for the rest of his life. However, she couldn't contact Xiao Chen. She added Xiao Chen's Weixin, but Xiao Chen didn't let her pass the verification. Just as she was worrying about it, she finally met Xiao Chen. The troubles of the past few days were suddenly released. She didn't care much and reached out to pull Xiao Chen's crotch. This scene made everyone dumbfounded. What was the relationship between these two people? It didn't seem like a rape. Instead, they looked like a couple flirting. Otherwise, why would this girl make such a bold move? She even wanted to check Yang Jiannan's crotch. Wasn't this something that only a very close couple would do? This situation made Lu Zhanlong dumbfounded. However, Xia Zhili immediately reacted and shouted, Lu Zhanlong, you're abusing your power. They're clearly boyfriend and girlfriend. Your boyfriend and girlfriend eating some drugs to liven things up is called MX? Are you bullying me because I'm crippled and don't understand? But I've read a lot of books. Lu Zhanlong's eyes widened, but he didn't dare to refute. He knew that if he dared to refute, he would probably be kicked away by Xia Zhili. As long as it involved Xia Zhili's problem, Xia Zhili would explode. And even if Xia Zhili exploded, even the director wouldn't say anything. These years, Xia Zhili had been working hard to plunder cultivation resources for cultivation. In fact, the director might not really know about this. It was just that he had made great contributions when he was young. His body was disabled, he didn't have any other thoughts, and he didn't have any children. He only had a little pursuit on the path of martial arts, so he turned a blind eye to it. Otherwise, even if Xia Zhili wasn't fired, he wouldn't be promoted. Everyone was well aware of this. Xia Zhili's problem was his reverse scale. Whoever touched it would die. Only an acquaintance can do it. Song Billion saw that things were going bad. He vaguely knew that this matter might have been caused by Pang Fengde, so he had to stand up and suppress Yang Jiannan. You see, although they know each other, it might not be an acquaintance. If you don't believe me, you can ask them if they are in a relationship. Are you in a relationship? Lu Zhanlong's eyes lit up as if he had grasped something and immediately asked. No. What's going on with you? Why are you asking so many questions? Let us go. Lan Xinxin was a little impatient. Song Billion laughed and said, you are not in a relationship. Yesterday, you were drugged and captured by him to sleep in the same bed with you. Do you know that? Do you still think of him as a friend? You've been deceived. That's right. Lu Zhanlong nodded. So, Yang Jiannan hasn't been cleared of suspicion. We must start the investigation now. Alright, separate them and take them away separately for investigation. Song Billion said with a wave of his hand. Song Huawu saw that the situation wasn't good. Although she didn't know what the relationship between Xiao Chen and the girl in front of her was, if this continued, it would be disadvantageous to Xiao Chen. Instructor Song and Pang Fengde obviously wanted to kill Xiao Chen. When the time came, they would really have no choice but to forge some evidence. Especially when she heard that this girl was from the Wang clan, she was even more worried. Even if nothing happened, rumors would spread in the end. For the sake of face, the Wang clan would have to settle the score with Xiao Chen. This was basically a plan that failed. Wait a minute. Although Song Huawu knew that if she stood up, Instructor Song might be unhappy, she still stood up. She couldn't watch Xiao Chen be framed. She could not be close to Xiao Chen, not carry out missions with Xiao Chen, or even ignore Xiao Chen. She could listen to Instructor Song, but she knew that Xiao Chen was not in the wrong and still wanted to frame him. That was definitely not acceptable. Oh. Team Leader Song, what's the matter? Lu Zhanlang looked at Song Huawu. He didn't know which side Song Huawu was on. Those who understood would know that Song Huawu was from the newcomer group, but recently, she had been very close to Yang Jiannan. In any case, Song Huawu was the newly appointed team leader of Team C. Lu Zhanlang had to give her some face. Last night, Yang Jiannan and I were drinking and eating mutton skewers. He didn't have the time to commit the crime. There should be a video of the hotel lobby. We went out together, came back together, and were together the whole time. Song Huawu said, as for how this girl ran into Yang Jiannan's room, I just want to see the surveillance video. This. Lu Zhanlang was shocked. He had a preconceived idea that Xiao Chen was guilty, but after listening to Song Huawu's solemn vow, he was a little uncertain. What if they caught the wrong person? Although he was impartial, he was also a person who cared about his reputation. After hesitating for a moment, he looked at Song Bilian, wanting to see what he had to say. Huawu, don't get involved in this kind of thing. I have just asked. There was something wrong with the surveillance yesterday. It's all broken. Song Bilian waved his hand and said, I know that you two used to be in a relationship, but now that you have broken up, you don't have to protect him. Don't be emotional. After listening to Song Bilian's words, Lu Zhanlang was relieved. Since it was emotional, it was a one-sided cover-up. However, it was a bit amazing that the surveillance was broken. Lu Zhanlang planned to retrieve the surveillance video as evidence later. Pang Fengde, who was far away, was shocked. He didn't expect the hotel surveillance. Although it was done secretly yesterday, it definitely couldn't escape from the hotel surveillance. He didn't often stay in this hotel, so he didn't know that there was a surveillance camera in the hotel corridor. Now, listening to Song Bilian, it must have been destroyed. He felt lucky in his heart, but he was even happier. It seemed that Song Bilian was on his side. Now, listening to what he said, Xiao Chen and Song Huawu had broken up. Then, he had a great opportunity. However, looking at Song Huawu's appearance, she still had feelings for Xiao Chen. This time, he must kill Xiao Chen. He must not be lenient. The most important thing was that Song Bilian also supported him. Then, he was even more assured and bold. What nonsense are you talking about? I know him. Are you crazy? Even if he ked me, I was willing to do it. At this moment, Lan Xinxin opened her mouth. She was suffocated. These people chattered non-stop. She was about to die of annoyance. When the two of us came, we took the same plane. On the plane, I made an appointment with him to test him, whether that part of his is good or not. Aren't you guys being too nosy? Why are you controlling everything? Can't we have a date? Xiao Chen suddenly broke into a sweat. This Lan Xinxin was really heartless. She could say anything. However, thinking about her behavior on the plane, he knew that she was a heartless person. She dared to jump out with any words. This was even more so when she was anxious. Song Huawu was also a little shocked. This woman. She knew Xiao Chen on the plane. At this time, Xia Shibin also stood up and said, yes, I can testify that group leader Yang also helped Miss Lan catch 2 liars. Group leader Yang saved the beauty, and Miss Lan secretly agreed. She had long wanted to devote herself to him. If you don't believe me, you can investigate the records on the plane. This. Lu Zhanlong didn't know what to do. If it was really as Lan Xinxin said, then nothing would happen to Xiao Chen. You can control the heavens and the earth, but you can control people's dating? Moreover, they are unmarried. You can't say that there is a problem with their style, right? Song Bilian had already said that Yang Jiannan and Song Huawu had broken up. It was reasonable for Yang Jiannan to find a new lover. However, he was a little nosy. No, even if this woman agreed subjectively, she was drugged. This is also considered a drug. Even if it's not easy to convict her, it also proves that Yang Jiannan has bad intentions. He must accept internal punishment. Song Bilian saw that things were going bad. He couldn't beat Xiao Chen to death with a stick, so he immediately jumped out and said,